What it do? What it do? What it do, my people? We are ready for the Berg. I'm gonna take my hat off right now. Just so I can get myself right. So we got two people getting ready to join us real quick, man. I want to definitely get some vibes rolling in real quick before we get these guys in here, because it's going to be one great night that I know that we're going to all enjoy, man, because I got some stuff lined up for everybody. Let me get myself right. There we go. I got some stuff lined up for everybody, so I want everybody to get ready for this awesome night that we're getting ready to have with our special guest, our DCO Galvo Sunshine State Bullies. And he also makes the micros as well, man. He also makes those as well. So we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to cover. And I just want to get the right tempo for this, because I think this is going to be a special night. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a special night. I'm going to send this out to my boys. They're going to come in hot, maybe. Our DCO sent that. Hit that button. B Westy. Here we go again. Here we go. Here we go again. Waiting for my guests to come on real quick. Sent them the invite, I believe. Get these guys to run up in. We're talking about somebody that's been in the game 20 plus years and have done, a lot of things. And we got him. I got some music jumping. Hold on.
What's up, man?
Oh my God, man. Got our 3 views. Put them on the big screen, man. Let's put them on the big screen. Put the big boys on. Boom, boom, boom. There we go, man. Let me make sure. Come on, hold on one second. Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
Good. How's
Fantastic.
it going?
You guys are fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh, man. Well, thank you guys for joining us. You know what? I don't like this view real quick, so let me change this view. But thank you guys for joining me tonight, man. This is our first of many, and I think that we're going to have a good one, man. Our DCO took the challenge. He says, yes, Bill, I'll do it. And so I'm excited to have you on, man. And B. Westy, thank you for joining me too, man.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys are closer to the phones, and so we can hear you guys.
I got an earbud. I'm straight.
You
guys are good?
Yep.
All right. You sound good to me. Sounding good to me, man. Well, I'll just let everybody know, just to get off the back right now, man. Off the back, we got 40 years of dogs, of OGs in the building today. You guys, do you guys, B. Westy is actually my co-host today. How long have you guys known each other?
I don't know, 3-4 years maybe.
Man. Yeah, I was gonna say at least 3.
Maybe 5. I don't know, somewhere around there.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you guys cross paths earlier?
I really don't know. Why is that, Ardizio?
Dude, you're gonna put it on me like that?
I've been hiding under a rock. That's why.
Yeah, well, I was under a rock for a long, long time. I really jumped full time back into dogs when I got Black Bull from my good friend Rami from LA Bullies.
Rami.
He's the one that had. Yep, he's got 5150. I've known Rami for a long, long time,
I
and
didn't know that he came from there.
yeah, he Rami produced him. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, and the crazy thing is at the time, I had just kind of gotten out of the military and really, really got that itch again to get another dog. I was always gone. So Rami was the one that had, he had a nice litter and he said, listen, I have this Dachshund. And I remember at the time, I had been so out of touch with the dogs that I'm like, I don't give a shit who it is, who he comes off of. I was just happy to get a dog and I had Black Bull and I didn't really realize what I really had in my hands at the time until, I realized who Dax truly was at that moment, because I had a small disconnect from the dog game for a little while once I actually got really involved in the military deploying. I had placed a lot of my old dogs out that I had, from originally, in the beginning of the game many, many years ago and really kind of walked away for a little bit. And when I jumped back in, it was when I got Black Bull. And I think that's right around the time that I met the US, was when I had Black Bull. And ever since then, we've known each other from that point on.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know
He's an
that you.
amazing son.
Yeah, amazing Dachshund, man.
Yes, yes.
Did you, Brian? Did you ever have any Dachshunds?
I did not. So, like, I took my 8 year hiatus, and
Hmm.
it was right around when Dax was, kind of hitting his stride. He was
Yeah.
in starting to make his mark when I was taking my vacation, whatever you want to call it. But that's why I didn't. I was really focused on my stuff at the time he was hitting a scene, and then decided to walk away. So never had anything direct Dax, or even I don't even think I've ever had anything like once removed from Dax. Which I do have a Black Bull credit, but I have yet to use it. So I could be once removed, but I haven't found the match for him yet.
No, I think you're gonna give that to me. Thank you.
That's all
Christmas,
you, boy.
early Christmas gift.
Yes.
so, so let's get into it, man. Ardecio, first of all, where are you from? Where are you from originally? And
So
go ahead.
I was born and raised in Brazil.
Brazil.
Yep, I grew up in the city of São Paulo, Brazil. I moved here to the U.S. when I was 13, so I didn't speak a lick of English, nothing, So I'm
What did you
I'm full
speak?
blood
Does Brazil have its
Portuguese.
own language? Oh,
Yep,
Portuguese.
Portuguese. So
Yes.
I'm full blooded Brazilian, man.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Bunda.
Yeah,
That's a good name. I like.
it's a good one. I mean, you just gotta ask
Yeah.
the right
Yeah.
person.
Yes. Yes. That's it. Don't do that to the wrong person. You might
That's
find
it.
your bunda in trouble. You might find your bunda
That's
in
it.
trouble.
You're
So do you make a mean picanha?
oh, you already know. You
Yeah.
already know, man. That's the best. That's the best cut right there.
That it
I,
is.
I was in Brazil last night. I had marinated. I was telling B about it. Marinated my steak, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It was some McCormick seasoning, but it said Brazilian Steakhouse, and I substituted the vinegar that they wanted you to put in there for a Coors Light. God damn it! Yeah, I put that in there.
There you go. There
It
you
was
go.
good. It was good. So I was in Brazil, man. So growing up in Brazil, man. So Brazil has definitely a lot of people have an opinion about Brazil. What was it like growing up in Brazil?
You know, it's kind of weird when you live there. You know what I mean? And like, I think a lot of the perspective comes after the fact. You know, growing up in Brazil and then obviously experiencing living here in America. You know what I mean? I just remember, we grew up in a city, so there's a lot of little things that we were very aware of, and as far as your surroundings go. That here you just never even it doesn't cross your mind. So there was no playing out in the street after dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything, um, little details like driving at night, for example. I remember my father never stopping at a red light, for example. You don't stop at a red light in Brazil in the city at night
Oh.
because these guys are standing on the side of the road ready to rob you. Playing out at after dark, of course. A lot of the houses there, they're barred up. Like bars all the way up to the ceiling, and they used to. There's concrete walls around the houses, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
if you have your yard where you have just a little 4 foot fence, it wasn't like that there. You have 10 foot walls around your yard and a gate, and then over the top of the walls, they put cement and break up glass.
Mm.
Um, the actual top section of the wall would just be covered with shattered glass. And that was,
Wow.
somebody wanted to break in, they jump up there, they grab that wall, it's glass. So it was a lot of little things, that as a kid to me it was just normal,
Right.
growing up. It's just normal, and you'd see a lot of ugly things. I saw a lot of ugly things as a kid, but to me it was just the norm. That's just what it was about. And I think a lot of people don't really realize that because you're there. So what's normal for one person may be something completely different for somebody else. So, but I
Yeah.
will say there's a lot of things I did love, about Brazil. Obviously, I love my country.
Mm-hmm.
I love the people there. Like if you go to Brazil, you're going to meet some of the nicest people you ever meet. I mean, they'll bring you into their home, feed you. They may not even know you, and they'll take good care of you. Just fun people to be around. Brazilians like to party. They like their churrasco and they like their beer. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And obviously soccer. It's either soccer or jujitsu.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Did you do both or?
I did. I did. I played a little bit of both. I played a lot of soccer growing up. My father was very, very big into soccer, so that was a huge thing for us. And then obviously, we got into some martial arts stuff. You have capoeira in Brazil, which is also very huge. It's
Yeah.
more like it's more of a dance than it is really a fight. But
Yeah, that shit is crazy. Yo, y'all
yeah.
will. I'm like, did he just do a cartwheel and kick that nigga's teeth out? That's what.
Yeah, bro. That's and it's nuts, man. It's nuts, and it's a beautiful country, man. It's such a shame because like
Yeah.
everything there it's super corrupt. Like I know I talk to people a lot about it here in the United States. And even with all the issues we have here, what I mean, in the
Mm-hmm.
United States, I look back and I think about the issues I had in Brazil, and I'm like, God, man, I wish these were the issues we had there. Because it's so corrupt. It's such a beautiful country with beautiful people, but it's just under that. It's just under that thumb. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes you hope you get out of there, but I think it's a little too deep. You know. Um,
At
but
what
yeah,
age? At what age did you leave?
13. I was 13 years old. So I'll tell
Okay.
you. I'll tell you. I'll kind of give you the insight on how my parents, decided to take me here to the United States. Right. So we lived in the city, São Paulo, Brazil, and the little house that we had, with walls and everything else, and like the gate was just like a 10 foot tall gate with big spikes on top, and the yard wasn't really a yard. In the city, you don't really have grass; it's just a concrete, front patio area.
Yeah.
I remember my dad, obviously up, my dad kind of told me the reasons why, So we were living in the city. That's where we grew up. We were all born there. And my dad came home from work. Saw me and my two brothers riding our little tricycles in a circle around
Uh
that
huh.
little small space. It was probably like 500 square feet, the little small front yard area.
Right.
And he said that he sat there in the car and he's like, damn, my kids look like caged animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this ain't the life. So my parents decided to pick up everything and we moved to a different state.
Uh huh.
It's just north of São Paulo, called Paraná. It's a little bit more rural, you know what I mean? A little bit more country, farmland, stuff like that. They had a little apartment complex. My parents ended up buying a small business that was trying to start over, you know. And what they didn't realize when they purchased that business, that the great deal that they purchased, is that business came with a lot of baggage. And the previous owner, I guess, owed some people a whole ton of money, like
Yeah.
big, big. And my dad was out running errands one day. My mom was working the front desk, and she said that a guy came in. He came in with a handgun. He set the handgun on the counter, and he had a handful of bullets. He set the handful of bullets on the counter, and told my mom, "Hey, listen, you're gonna pay me my money, but the next time I come in, those bullets are gonna be in that gun." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my mom told him, my mom's like, listen, I just bought the business. I don't know what you're talking about, but, I don't have your money. So if you're going to do what you got to do, you just do it now, you know?
Wow.
And that's when my parents, luckily, honestly, fortunately, My father wasn't there. My father was a bit of a hothead, always has been.
Yeah.
I think that had he been there, things probably would have gone off a lot worse. Like
Yeah.
they don't really play in Brazil. You know what I mean? Like
No.
it's
No.
it's not like you know what I mean. When they say something, it'll happen. You can't even fool around in the street looking at a little kid. So my parents were like, "All right, we got to get the hell out of here." And I just remember like little tidbits, of my parents like disappearing for a few months. They're
Pick the.
like, "Oh,
Hold on a second. Is
Yep.
your phone on the table? If it's on the table, just pick it up off the table.
okay, I'm right here. Can you hear me?"
There you go. Yeah, just because it's breaking out some in and out a little bit sometimes. Go ahead.
Well, do you have earbuds?
I don't actually. So I think what's happening is as I'm holding my phone, my hand's cupping the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, just uncup it.
Part of it too is the reverb. So when your speaker is playing what you're saying, it's saying it twice really, because
Oh,
it's picking up what you're hearing and it's replaying it. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Where with
All right.
earbuds, you hear everything in your ear, but it picks up what you're saying. It doesn't pick
I
up what you're
gotcha.
hearing.
Yep, makes sense. So what ended up happening is I just remember for like 6 months, my parents were just like out and about. Like they're like, hey, they're doing stuff, they're traveling for work or something like that. It was weird. We stayed with our grandparents.
Yeah.
And then I remember my grandma coming to us after like 6 months, and she's like, hey, you guys are going to be moving. And I'm like, where? She's like, well, you're going to the United States.
Wow.
And it was such it's hard to explain because it was such an alien thought for me as a kid who grew up in Brazil that I'm moving to a whole new country. Because I'm going to tell you, all I knew about the United States was Mickey Mouse, dude.
Wow.
That's it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's it. Like that was that was all I knew.
Mhm.
So it was such an odd thing, and I remember flying in. We flew into Orlando International Airport, and my dad picked us up, and we were going to be living down here in South Florida. So it was like a 3.5 hour drive. You know that drive from Orlando down here, right?
Yeah.
And my parents decided, they're like, hey, we're going to stop somewhere to get something to eat. So they stopped at Boston Market, right?
Whoa.
We get some food. Yeah, Boston Market, bro. That's the shit.
Hell yeah.
So the weird thing, I ended up eating outside in the curb, like on the curb,
Yeah.
because I wasn't used to air conditioning.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I wasn't used to air conditioning, and I was
It was
so
cold as shit in there, wasn't it?
And I was sitting outside, and all these things like play over in my mind, and just I didn't know how to speak any freaking English, so you could have asked me anything. Hey, go jump off a bridge or go eat dog shit, and I would have said yes and smiled yes.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I had no clue, and it's odd, man. It was such a journey, and it's such a blur, because you go from not speaking a language to then just integrating yourself into a brand new culture, and then all of a sudden, it's like that's all you know. You forget that other identity that used to be you back then.
Was you in Brazil? Was you bullied there at all, or because
all the
I'm?
time. I mean,
And then
all
it
the
probably got even worse when you came to the U.S. because now you didn't speak
for
any
sure.
English.
For sure. So, here's the thing, right? The thing in Brazil is that this is the part I love about Brazil, right? Is that when you have issues, even at school and stuff like that, like bullying is not, we call it bullying here in the United States. In Brazil, it's just, it is what it is.
Another
go
day.
handle your problem or deal with it. You know what I mean? And the beauty of it is even at school, if somebody's picking on you and you got to get into a fight or whatever, the teacher just tell you to step outside the class, go handle your business, and
Yep.
when you guys are done and ready to come listen, you come back in the room. So kids grew up to be pretty damn tough in Brazil because of that. You had to handle it. We used to call it sending the person to the dentist. That was a term we used in Brazil. We're going to send them to the dentist, and that's you had to be careful what you said about people. You know what I mean? Because if you said something, you might get sent to the dentist. That was like a big thing in Brazil. But then I remember when I moved here, I wouldn't even consider it bullying because the people that were picking on me were speaking in English, and I didn't understand them anyways. So I would just smile. You know what I mean? And it's like it is what it is.
Yeah.
I remember one kid telling me to go back to the jungle, Mowgli. You know what I mean? With your
Wow.
leopard Cheeto.
Wow.
And now it's okay. I don't give a shit, dude. Because now that I think about it, right, I'm going, how ignorant is this motherfucker? I grew up in one of the biggest cities in the freaking world, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was so far disconnected from a jungle. You know what I mean? Speechless. And then, now I laugh about it. It's just like, I can't believe the ignorance, but it's
Yeah.
okay, man. I've always you know, I've never really paid attention to that. You know what I mean? I've never
Yeah.
really paid attention to that stuff. Like I let it be, and I let people to,
Yeah.
let people say what they want to say. And to me, like when I hear people say stuff, it's already their insecurity kind of coming through. So for me, it doesn't even bother me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you grew up in a whole nother country, man. So it's like you can take it way to you could just be like, I'm not even familiar with this shit. So y'all do what y'all do, and y'all just keep
it's
it going.
weird. For
What
sure,
was
man, for sure.
what was the first who do you remember? Like who was your real first friend in America that like, you'll never forget
Bro,
this guy or girl?
no question asked. So a buddy of mine named Marco. So a funny story, right?
Hmm.
I moved here to South Florida. We lived in Tamarack, and I went to a school here named Nova. So they had Nova Middle School. Obviously, they have Nova University, which is like a private school, but then they have Nova Elementary,
Right.
middle school, and high school. So I went to middle school. I think I was in 8th grade. I met this kid, Brazilian kid. His name was Mark. We both arrived in the United States the same exact day,
Mm.
right? So I meet this kid at school, and him and I kind of kick off. We're both Brazilian, and the school here at Nova, they had what was called an ESOL program, which is the English for Speakers of Other Languages program.
Hmm.
So we had everything. We had Cubans, we had Nigerians, we had Haitians, we had everybody kind of meshed in. So I remember I met him and we kicked it off. And the funny part is that I went to school with him. And I think it was like a few weeks after we started school, we're like, hey, I want to go over to my friend's house, Marco, to go hang out with him.
Right.
My parents are like, all right. My brother, Walter, who's my middle brother, he's like, oh, I want to go hang out with my friend Pedro. And I didn't realize, so Pedro and Marco were brothers. And we all met at the same time. So like my little brother, who's in elementary school, met Pedro there
Oh
the
wow.
same day. And we all got here at the same time. And then we kind of kicked it off. Him and I, we've been friends for a long time on and off. We're a whole lot different people these days than we were back then. So we're not
Right.
as
I'm
close
sure.
anymore. But we still talk, we still check in on each other. And I've known the man for, a long, long time.
Wow, man. Does he have a dog of yours yet?
Nah, he ain't got no dogs. He don't have pets, man.
He ain't got
He
no
don't have
pets. We're gonna leave
He ain't got
Pablo.
no
We're gonna leave Pablo alone.
That's it. That's it.
That
That's
is
it.
pretty. That's pretty amazing, man. So, just so how was you in high school, man? You got acclimated a little bit, and now you're 13 years old. So you're going into like, you're a freshman, actually, 14, 15 years old. What was that?
Yeah.
What was you like in there? Was you still
So,
the English, the language barrier was still in full effect, or did you pick
no,
up
not
English
really.
fast?
Not really. I picked up English super fast. So I'll tell you how that worked out, right? So obviously we're in ESOL. I was in 8th grade, and basically what they do is they try to see how you kind of develop your language ability, right? And I remember my teacher. She was actually Nigerian, Miss Urdu. She was Nigerian, big lady. Like you don't want to piss her off. This lady, man, she got
Yeah.
them hands, them oven mitts. She put them hands on you. And I remember she called my parents and she's like, listen, Ardicio's doing pretty good, and we want to put him into one All-American class, right?
Yeah.
To kind of get his foot in the door, right?
Yeah.
Mom looks at her and says, hey, why don't you just put him in All-American classes? And she's like, well, we don't really recommend that, because we want him to kind of slowly blend in. And my mom's like, hey, do you know how to
Mhm.
learn? My husband just grabbed him and threw him in the deep end of the pool. He's going to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And that was honestly and truthfully the best thing that ever happened to me, because my friend Marco, the one guy that I met,
Hmm.
he didn't do that. He still, till this day, has a huge, thick accent, Brazilian accent.
Mm.
And I attest it to my mom just saying, hey, sink or swim. You know what I mean? Get in there.
Yeah.
So, I was when I was growing up in Brazil, just, curly headed, skinny little kid, bottle, Coke bottle glasses, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I was the typical pick on me looking kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, baby, bring
The
it on,
target.
And yeah, so then, obviously you get here to the United States, you kind of start blending in, so next thing you know, I'm going as a freshman. So now I'm going, I see all these kids with Timbs, you know what I mean, in school. And
Yeah.
they're wearing Timbs and heavy, baggy jeans and like, button up shirts. So I'm trying to blend in as best as I can. So obviously I can't afford tins. So I'm going to Payless and buying, the Payless version of tins. So I look apart a little
Yeah.
bit, and getting some different clothes and start blending in. And then it just kind of, as a kid, you try to emulate what you think is cool, right? So you kind of follow what you see around you. You see the other cool kids that are seniors or whatever, and you kind of try to emulate that. So
Right.
I immediately, took on to I was wearing, the old school Echo outfits and
Oof.
Tim boots and Air Force Ones. You know what I mean? I was working at McDonald's part time, making a little money and trying to blowing my money on dumb clothes and
Yeah.
just a stupid kid. And then obviously, back in the day in Florida, we used to have 16 and under nights at some of the nightclubs. So there used to be one in Boca called Riviera Beach Nightclub, and that's where like everybody went, right? So I was 16, so I'm like, man, how am I gonna pick up girls? So I saw these kids breakdancing one day at our pep rally in high school. So I'm like, man, I need to learn how to breakdance because that's it. Like big, you already got it. Let's go. So next thing you know, I get into breakdancing, and now I'm the
Wow.
cool kid. And I remember my dad going, "Why are you hanging out with all these damn flies? A bunch of losers walking around, blah blah blah." And at the time, I'm going, "Damn, Dad, chill out, man. It's cool. Like this is what we do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?" And then
We
obviously,
spin. We
you look back
backspin
and
on
you're like,
boxes in the middle of the street, Dad. What do you mean?
you know how it is. Head spins, flares, windmills, the whole nine. So
Yeah.
my dad's like, man, you hanging out with all these damn losers, right?
Yeah.
And now that I look back, I'm like, man, I was a douchebag. Like I was excuse my language, folks. I was
I
like, how
think I
embarrassed.
think that's all of us, bro. When you look back, you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yes,
You thought
I
you were
don't.
cool at the time,
Yeah.
you know.
That's it. Don't want to
Hell
talk
yeah.
about that part of my life.
Me
So
and B, me and B grew up on BMXs and
yeah,
bike race.
see,
That was cool though. I don't care what anybody say
that,
because Rad, the movie came out. You couldn't tell us shit, right, B?
Yeah, it was we was cool, but I mean, when you
we
look
was
back,
cool.
it wasn't as fly as you picture it in your head. It's kind of
Not
like
wearing
when
that
like,
that little hat with the.
yep, yep.
You know how it is. I had the blowout. You know what I mean? I had the blowout with the curly hair, the whole nine. I got some pictures. I can throw you up some pictures. You can see what I look like. I look like a damn fool.
I was
Actually, you know
doing
what,
I was doing a little trolling trying to find some shit on you, but you pretty
bro?
you all right.
He's
Oh,
squeaky
bro.
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to be. I'm not squeaky clean. I'm a human, man, like everybody else. But yeah. So through that, right, I get to sophomore year of high school, right. So now I'm really kind of starting to fit in. You know what I mean? I got I
Yeah.
got I got the cool club. I got the girls. I'm hanging out with everybody, whatever. And then I remember walking through the hallway, and this is what 2001. It was 2001. I'm walking through the hallway of my school, and they used to have these TVs on the wall, right? And I'm watching all these kids. They're standing still on the hallway, right? And they're just staring at these TVs, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" And I'm sure you can imagine what that was about. It's 2001, so
Mm,
that's when 9/11 happened, right?
hmm.
And I remember while I was going through high school, I really didn't know. I wasn't a very good student. You know what I mean? I was getting into trouble here and there, but I wasn't the best student. There were certain classes that I enjoyed and I did well on, but the ones I didn't, you couldn't catch me, even worrying about them. So plenty of butt whoopings from my parents, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I just remember I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I talked about being a biologist and a vet, and I had all these dreams when I was a little kid, of things that I wanted to do because I always loved animals. But then when I got to high school, like kind of all that went away because I was too busy chasing girls and doing other stupid stuff, right? Not focusing.
Same thing, same dream, same scenario.
There you
I
go.
wanted I
So
wanted to be an architect or a veterinarian, man. And
there you go, dude.
by the time
So
high school came and cars and girls came around, it was
all gone,
all
all
gone.
out the window, bro. Screw
Should
it.
have
So
stuck to it.
I wanted to
that's
be a
it. So
motherfucking
then,
gangster.
How'd that work
and,
out for
and,
you?
and here
Not
you
so
are,
well.
baby. So, I when I looked at that TV screen, I had all these things come to my head, right? Where I went, I think I found my purpose, right? I've always had like this sense of like, because I grew up like I told you, I was the scrawny little kid. I was never like the strong, you know what I mean? I was always the scared kid. I was always trying to avoid, confrontation and stuff when I was growing up in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then at that moment, as an immigrant to the United States, as someone who lived a different life in Brazil that didn't allow me or give me so many abilities to do the things I wanted to do and to enjoy life the way that I did. It was almost like a sense of purpose, like right then and there. Like I found my calling. You know what I mean? And
Did
obviously,
any of your siblings now? Do you
no.
have one brother, right, or
I have two brothers. I have two
oh,
younger brothers.
two younger brothers? So none of them followed in your footsteps, and
No,
obviously your parents didn't
no,
wasn't in the Brazilian military, nothing like that.
no, no, no. So my family does not come from a military family. The only
Okay,
person that was military in my family was my grandfather.
okay,
Um, and he was in the Brazilian military. He was the only one, but I always kind of followed on his footsteps. He was always like my role model in my family. I love my father,
yeah,
but my grandfather was always like my beaming light. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be like him as a man
Yeah.
when I grew up, right?
I was going to
So
ask who you was closest to, and so when you left Brazil, did you left him? No.
I did. I did. I
Wow.
did. My grandfather stayed, and my grandfather was a big, big part of my life. He's the one that exposed me. Like I said, the outdoors portion, nobody in
Yeah.
my family's like that. We grew up in a city. My grandfather was the one that when we'd go to visit, he would take me to the rodeo. You know what I mean? He'd take me
Yeah.
to the fairgrounds. He'd take me to the zoo. He was always someone who loved animals. So growing up, he would pick up little animals on the street and fix them up, or dogs or whatever.
Hmm.
Get them fat, feed them, take care of them, vet them, whatever. So I think he really was like the one that rubbed off on me the most. You know what I mean? And the one that
Yeah.
I sought after the most to be like.
Was you
So
was you when you was in Brazil? Did you have dogs, or was there
no,
street
no,
dogs? There were street dogs and shit, or
bro. Oh
how'd that
yeah,
go?
they're everywhere. Yeah, stray dogs are everywhere in Brazil. I wasn't allowed to have a single pet. I'll tell you what, my parents didn't want not even a mosquito in the house.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of butt whoopings for bringing in animals and sneaking them into my room. So because I couldn't have a dog because they're too loud, I'd go out in the woods.
Yeah.
Brazil's got everything. We got deadly ass freaking spiders. We got snakes, all kinds of shit. So I used to go out there with mayonnaise jars, poke little holes on top, and I'd have,
I used to do that too. Not
yeah,
in the
dude.
jungle, of course, but
No,
Yeah.
the
Bro,
jungle of Lebanon, Brian.
yeah, yes.
I had some of the deadliest
It's
shit
an
in my
urban
room, man.
jungle.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. So I had spiders under my bed, all kinds of crap. And then obviously when it get found out, I get my butt whooped.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't allowed to have pets growing up. And
Yeah.
actually, it's funny you say that. So when we moved here, right, I was living in Coral Springs when I was going to high school. Always wanted a dog. My obsession with pit bulls started at like a very young age, right?
In
And I
Brazil or here?
in Brazil. And it wasn't, I don't know what it was, but I always had this admiration for the spirit of the pit bull. You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
heart, not always the biggest dog. You know what I mean? Not the
Yeah.
biggest dog, maybe not the strongest dog, but always the most game dog, the one that's most willing to get out there. So I always had this admiration for that dog. And I feel like it was almost like, I don't know. It was, because I wasn't that, I always connected with the pit bull because I wanted to be more like that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember I was working at McDonald's. It was one of my first jobs. I was 16, and this girl that used to work there, she shows up one day and she's got this little pit female, cute little thing. And I'm like, I want her. I want her. I had no ability to keep a damn dog, no ability. My parents, they would have been like, hell no. But right in our little community, there was a little pool house right next to where we were, the little apartment complex we lived in.
Hmm.
And right on the back side of it was like this covered like nook that went all the way in, right? And it was covered and it was part of the building. And I think it was just like, if they wanted to store stuff or whatever. So I went in there and I built a little door and shit. And I was keeping the dog there for months with dog food, letting her out, walking her when I got out from school. Nobody even knew until finally somebody in the community is like, hey, whose dog is this? And then, obviously now the jig is up, you know what I mean? And I got busted and my parents are like, you've been keeping that damn dog over there this whole time, and I was super crushed because I wanted to keep her, you know what I mean? But that was the
You had to get
beginning.
rid of her?
I did. I had to give her back. I had to give her back. But, so then obviously once you grow up and you move away, you know, all those one things that you had growing up as a kid, first
Yeah.
opportunity, you jump on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how it all
Absolutely.
happened. 9/11 came through. I decided to join the military and left as soon as I was 18. Went to boot camp, went to AIT, As soon as I got to my first duty station, I had my dogs, and that's how it all
Wow.
started. That's
Got
how
in
On
it
it.
started.
base?
Say again.
You had dogs on base?
I did. I did.
Where was you stationed at?
Oh, dude, many places. So I started in Aberdeen Proving Grounds, Maryland.
Uh huh.
So Edgewood Arsenal, to be exact, it's an old research base.
Yeah, I know
And
where
then
it is.
went from there down to Georgia. I spent some time in Georgia, not only in Atlanta. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Fort McPherson.
Yep.
Okay, so Fort McPherson actually is now owned by Tyler Perry. It's now
Yes.
Tyler Perry Studios. Okay,
Yep.
so I was there before they shut that place down. Then obviously spent some time in Fort Benning, spent some time in Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
And you was in the
Spent some time
Army, right? You was in the
I
Army.
was in the Army. Yep,
But you were a ranger, right?
I was. So
Look at that.
but
Look at that
came
on the screen.
That came on. Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite one right there.
That
So,
is beautiful. It says
I'll
we
tell
do
you-
bad things to bad people.
That's it.
awesome.
I
That's
would
what I
never,
love, man.
after knowing, just to make this clear to everybody, after knowing that this is what the stuff that our DC, I would never want to owe you any fucking money.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
You don't want to do
I know.
bad
It's
business.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that when you walk around
Well,
with that on
so-
your arm, that's different.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
You have it
But I'll
tattooed
tell
on you?
So, oh, of course. So
Wow. Wow.
I have that one, and then I have the that shield that you see there.
Yeah.
Hold on, see if I can get the camera in there. Shit, I can't see where the hell it is. There it is.
That's awesome.
That's crazy, man. Hey, let me ask you a quick question about that. This is a little off subject, but you know what? Oh my God, how do I watch a lot of shit on YouTube, right? And
Yeah.
you know, I've worked with several different people. My uncles and my grandfather Semper Fi Marines and stuff like that. I chose to not go into the military and stuff like that. Yo, being that you're an Army Ranger and stuff like that, that's more of the elite, correct? That's like you got to train, you know, like that's like SEALs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
correct?
Special forces.
Yeah. So
Special forces.
Ranger Regiment.
Yeah.
Ranger Regiment is a special operations unit. So they're part of what we consider to be USASOC.
Yeah.
USASOC is the United States Army Special Operations Command. Okay.
Right.
So the way that it kind of works, like I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on how the whole thing panned out for me. Okay. Hold on real quick. I got to plug in this phone because
Yes.
the battery was going to get killed.
I told you I sent you to the to-do list and you didn't listen.
I know. Do the damn to-do list. So basically, when I joined the Army, right, when I first decided to sign up,
Uh-oh. You connected to your Bluetooth in the car.
You got nabbed by the special forces.
Damn. Damn, he's gone. He's lost. He's in the darkness. Where has our DCO gone? There he goes.
He went to the dark side. Oh, he's
Oh,
back.
he went to the dark side and
I'm
he's
back.
back.
You guys
All
hear
right.
me?
I can hear you good. Yep.
Okay, so basically, when I joined, right, when I first joined, I was 17. That's when I decided to sign up, right? And
Yeah.
they had something called the delayed entry program into the military, meaning basically you sign up early, and then as soon as you graduate, you turn 18, boom, you go straight to boot camp. You don't have to go through all the BS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quick backstory. Obviously, like I told you, my family, not military whatsoever, not into the military thing, you know, not completely against it, but it's just not their thing.
Right.
Now, I'm a fresh 17-year-old immigrant kid from Brazil, getting ready to join the military right as 9/11 kicks off.
Wow.
So,
Ooh, that's scary.
exactly. So, obviously, my parents were not very keen. At 17, my parents have to give me permission.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So, I remember my recruiter brought me a book, and that book was Operation Gothic Serpent. I'm sure you've heard of Black Hawk Down.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so that book was the story of Black Hawk Down and those Rangers that were there, right? I
Mhm.
remember reading that book, and just like I connected with pit bulls, right? I immediately connected with that book because those stories were beyond what I believe was capable for a human to ever get through, right?
Right.
And I said, I want to be like that. I want to be one of those guys one day, right? And I go to her and I'm like, hey, what do I got to do? Now, mind you, I'm a young 17-year-old kid. I probably weighed, I think when I joined the military, I weighed like 125 pounds. I was a scrawny little kid. I go to my parents. I want to sign up. Obviously, at that time, in order to be a Ranger, you had to be in a combat MOS, meaning either you had to be an infantryman, a mortarman, or you had to be a combat medic, right? There was no ands or buts about it. Like, that's the only people that they took in. So my parents are like, we're not signing you up to be an infantryman. You're going straight to war. Like, it's just not going to happen, right?
Right.
So I'm going, well, listen, I'm going to sign up one way or another. Whether you guys allow me to sign up now or I have to wait till I'm 18, like, help me out. So the recruiter comes out. And she says, well, what else do you like to do? And I said, I love working with animals. And she's like, I got a job for you.
Wow.
Right? So I said, okay, what is it? She's like, vet tech. And
wow.
I'm like, you got a job as a vet tech in the Army? And she's like, yeah. She's like, if you get a good enough test, like on your ASVAB, we can make you a vet. Okay, I'll take it. So I was so eager to sign up, immediately jumped in as a vet tech, right? So I joined the Army. I get to my first unit. I meet my first sergeant, Bill Cafferty, awesome guy, still on my Facebook. He was like one of the best mentors I've ever had in my life, right? I remember getting in there, sitting down. I'm a young, eager, hungry 18-year-old little kid with something to prove. And I said, one day I'm going to be an Army Ranger, first sergeant. And he's like, all right, I'll be the judge of that. We'll see. He's like, all right, that's a whole new level, you know what I mean, that you're talking about. And most of these people had never even been that, right?
Right,
like these
right.
Guys, none of the guys in my unit were ever Rangers, right? I hadn't met a Ranger yet in my life. So, but he was around enough Rangers in his life to know what that life was about. So I said to him, I said, listen, any opportunities that you have for me, I don't care what it is, jump school, jumping out of airplanes, parachuting. So you go to airborne school. I'll take it. I don't care where I got to be. You call me, my bags will be packed. I'll be ready. I'm going. Air assault school, which is where you fast rope out of helicopters. Same thing. I don't care what it is. You tell me, I'm ready. He's like, all right, I'm going to hold you to that, right? Made the phone call, airborne school. I was there the next day, packed up, ready to rock.
You signed up to jump out of planes.
Oh, yeah.
That's that's amazing.
Terrified of heights. Terrified of heights.
You, I just confirmed you're a crazy motherfucker. Yes, sir.
Well, I don't know about crazy, but I really, because like I said to you, I was such a fearful kid growing up. I knew that there was only one way for me to get over, being a scared kid. And that was just to go and do it,
Right.
And so I'm an E1 in the Army as a vet tech, and I come home with jump wings on my chest. That
That's
was a
crazy.
huge accomplishment for me, because most vet techs, they don't like, vet techs, you've met vet techs, bro. They're not about that life, right?
Yeah, not most of them until I talk to you.
Yeah. So then you fast forward a little bit, same thing. Hey, we got an opportunity for you to go to air assault school, which is where you fast rope out of helicopters.
Yeah.
Right? I'll take it. I went, passed
Yeah.
it. Now I have parachute wings and I have air assault wings, which was super unheard of for a vet tech, right? And this whole time I'm going to be a Ranger one day.
Yeah.
So this guy, he was such an incredible mentor to me that when he saw that that I meant what I said when I first spoke to him, he started calling me Ranger from that day.
Wow.
Hey, Ranger, come here. Hey, Ranger.
It was destined, huh? It was destined. He was helping.
I swear it was destiny. And I kept telling people, I'm going to be a Ranger one day. And they all laughed at me. They're like, man, you're going to have to change jobs, homie. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do something else with vet tech. It ain't happening, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. So I'll tell you what ended up happening. I got information through the grapevine. I got a call through the grapevine that because the war really required these guys to have working dogs, Belgian Mouse. So Ranger Regiment started introducing Belgian Mouse right in the beginning of the Iraq War in 2003. Okay. And it was so alien to them that they didn't know, like, dogs were getting blown up, they were getting shot, they were getting messed up. And these guys were just like, what do we do? They started looking for guys to come in there who were vet techs,
Jesus.
right? That could fit the bill, right?
God.
But Ranger Regiment, even to that point, did not have slots for vet techs. So they couldn't slot you in as a vet tech. They had to slot you in as either a medic or an infantryman and then bring you in. So I remember going, man, like,
I got that call and I'm going, I can't believe, like, I this shit
It's surreal.
happened for real. Like this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
real deal. Like I made it. Like I saw this happening, and here it is right now. Now, mind you, lots of hurdles to get there, right?
Right.
So first, I was still an immigrant, so I only had a green card. I wasn't a citizen yet. Okay. Hurdle number one. That was the number one hurdle I had, was that in order to join Ranger Regiment, you actually have to be a citizen, because you have to get a top secret clearance. Okay. Special Operations Command. So hurdle number one was that. Hurdle number two, as I'm working through that progress, I get orders to go to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, okay, from Georgia. So I'm going, you got to be kidding me. Like, I'm almost here. Like, and you guys are putting me on orders there, which that meant I had to wait a whole nother year before I even got a chance to go.
Right. You need a
So,
passport, right, to go to Cuba?
no, not
Oh,
to go to
no?
Guantanamo Bay. No, if you're in a
Oh.
military base, you don't. You're on orders, right? And I'm pissed off. I'm like, I'm not going to freaking Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, you know, this, that, and the other. I was mad because if I tell you Guantanamo Bay, what do you think when I ask you about, like, if I tell you Guantanamo Bay, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The people that are holding the bad people and making
There,
sure that
okay.
they don't have much to
Terrorists
do over there. That they-
in prison. That's what you think, right? The
Yeah.
prison in Guantanamo Bay that holds the terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what most people think.
right.
I was so wrong. That's what I thought. So Guantanamo Bay is actually the oldest base that the United States military has overseas. Okay. It's been there long before that prison that holds the terrorists from
Yeah.
overseas showed up. So I didn't know that, right? So I was pissed off because all my dreams had finally culminated into that moment of going to become a Ranger.
Yeah.
All of that got flipped upside down when I got put on orders, because now Ranger Regiment can't do anything. Military says you go, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm working all this out, and finally the recruiter's like, dude, listen, here's what we're going to have to do. We'll work on your citizenship while you're there, okay? Next year, just get yourself ready. We'll get your package moving, and then once you've been there for a year, we can reapply you and see if we can get you here, right? I just didn't want to miss this opportunity. I've always been one of those people, like, if I get a shot at something, man, I'm going to take it. You know, I don't want to lose it.
Right.
So I get there and immediately I start working diligently. Now, I'll tell you, I remember walking off of the plane in Guantanamo Bay and looking around and going, this has got to be a dream. It's paradise.
Really.
Absolute. Oh, my God. It's paradise, dude. It's mountains. It's Caribbean clear waters.
Yeah.
They got a marina there where you can rent a boat for $6 an hour and go out.
But let me just say though, when the terrorist comes over,
They
that's
ain't coming over. Listen, you don't even, let me tell you, you don't even know it exists. It's on the other side of the hill on the mountain.
Oh, because I was about to say that's got to be torture. I'll be like, man,
Bro,
you gonna send me over here? Paradise, clear water, bikinis, $6 coconuts, and fucking rental boats, and I gotta
Yeah.
sit here and rot to death.
No, seriously. So that's the thing, right? So you just go on and everything there is on island time. You know, we
Yeah.
had the Jamaican jerk house up the hill.
What?
Some of the best, bro. Rice
Damn.
and peas, the whole nine, bro. You name it, man. You name it. The best freaking. It was a dream, and I will tell
Wow.
you this. Now that I look back, and then I got my citizenship there. There's probably a picture somewhere on the internet. I was one of me and two other guys were the first ever to get our citizenships in Guantanamo Bay. This lady flew all the way in from Mexico City to do the ceremony for us.
Wow.
I went through that process, and then Guantanamo Bay was such a great place for me spiritually that I was able to get ready mentally to go through what I had to go through to get in a Ranger Regiment.
Yeah.
Because it took a lot, you know what I mean, to get through selection. It wasn't easy, you know what I'm saying? And I just remember the guy going, hey, listen, you got one shot at this, and if you don't make it, they had a few others that went through and didn't make it, you know what I mean? They flunked out or didn't make it. And he's like, if you can't get through,
Yeah.
then what we're going to start doing is we're going to take our guys who are already Rangers, and we're going to send them to get the training, and then we'll just bring them back, which that made more sense, right? Because, you have somebody who's already within the community. You already know they fit in with the community as far as special operations. They know the job. Now
Right.
they just need to learn an extra skill. It made more sense.
Right.
Well, I told the dude, you get me out of there in a body bag. That's what I told him. I said, you get me out of there in a body bag. I've waited my whole life for this moment. You
Yeah.
get me in a body bag. And,
Did you achieve it the first time?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember, and you know it's crazy. So I got there because I was in Guantanamo Bay. I flew in like I think a week and a half early before
Hmm.
selection started, and I was by myself in these little barracks, you know, alone. And it's crazy, but I was running every day, like miles. We're talking 5, 8, 10 miles every day to get
Right.
ready, and I was listening to Eminem "Lose Yourself" on repeat
Oh
every
shit.
single day. I'm not even like it's crazy because even when I hear the song now, it kind of gives me goosebumps. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
brings me back to that moment. And I was listening to that every day, and I'm going, I cannot go home without this. Like this is everything I've ever done in my life. It has come to this moment,
Damn. So
and
that was one of your biggest achievements, huh?
100%. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, that was also not only was one of the biggest achievements, but there was a moment through that process that changed my life forever. This is
Hmm.
what, remember, you had asked me a little bit earlier, like, do you remember a moment that like changed the trajectory of your life? And I never, ever, ever forget this moment. I tell people this story all the time, right?
Hmm.
And basically, you're doing selection, and the way it works is you go through all the events. A lot of them are pass or fail events, right? But you could still pass everything and not get selected. Okay. You
Mm.
could get through all the events, get to the end, and they're like, nope, you're not a good fit. And they send you home.
Wow.
Right. And I remember, I got through all the events, whatever. And then we had a training exercise towards the end where we're out at this range, Cole Range, and we're running missions all night. I don't remember. It was something like 48 hours, 72. I forget. But I just remember that we got no sleep at all, barely any food, and we're operating on fumes for days, going up and down these mountains all through the night, pushing trailers and stuff up the just crazy shit. And then I remember coming in on the final day, and we're all walking like zombies because once you haven't slept for enough, like you haven't had any sleep for so many days, you
Yeah.
almost going through into like this zombie mode where you're walking, you don't really know what the hell you're doing, you're just moving, you know what I
Right.
mean? You don't feel nothing, you don't think nothing, you just do, right?
Hmm.
And I remember we're coming back in, and I was all tore up. I had, both of my feet were bleeding into my socks. I mean, my lower back was completely just shattered and scraped up and raw from the rucksack that I was carrying the whole time. And I remember come in, and they're like, all right, Rangers, throw your stuff in the bus, we're going back. And I remember this sense of relief, like right then and there, like it's over, like we made it, you know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah.
And I remember we get in this bus, and we're driving back towards the barracks, and they go right past the barracks. Okay, so we're gonna talk about some highs and some lows. So they go right past the barracks. We're thinking we're going back, hot shower, hot meal. That's it. It's over. They take us straight out to what they call the PT field, which is the physical training field.
Mm.
Okay, we get out of the bus, and they're like, "All right, Rangers, line up." And we're all wearing fatigues. We got our camo on and boots still on and everything else, all messed up. And they say your next event is going to be the Ranger physical fitness test.
Jeez.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, that test is already hard enough to pass when you're fresh,
Hmm.
when you've slept, when you've eaten, when your muscles aren't fatigued, when your feet aren't bleeding into your socks and all this other shit. And I remember I was in such a delirious state in that moment. And a buddy of mine, I never forget this. He throws his pack on the ground and he goes, I can't even fucking walk right now. How the fuck am I going to pass this test? Right. And I remember just laughing. And I swear, like, I look back now, it probably sounded psychotic, right? But I was laughing. And I go, who gives a fuck, dude? Just do it. You know what I mean? Just do the test.
Right.
So we go, and I'm trying to do my push-ups. I didn't pass the push-ups. Try to do the sit, didn't pass the sit-ups. Try to do the pull-ups, didn't pass the pull-ups. And then I start running around the track, right? Because we had to do a 2-mile run, and
Yeah.
it was pathetic, right? But I do the first lap, and as I finish the first lap, the instructor goes, "Galveo, get on the bus." So I'm like, "That's it. My shot at this is over, right?" And I get on the bus. We're heading back. He comes next to me in the bus, and he sits next to me. And he says, "Hey, can I tell you something?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I normally don't share this with people." He's like, "The purpose of that test wasn't to see who would pass or fail that test." He said, "The purpose of that test was to see who was willing to keep going when they had absolutely nothing left in the fucking tank."
Yeah.
And that day changed my life forever, dude.
That's what the
Forever.
fuck I'm talking
I
about.
have never forgotten that day. And I've approached my life that way ever since that day.
That's what the
everything.
fuck I'm talking about.
So
They
it was incredible, man. What
they
an
tried to
experience.
gas you at. They tried to gas your ass, boy. They
Well,
tried to,
they did, but you got to think about it, man. These guys, as Rangers, I mean, you really put yourself in some situations where ain't
yeah,
nobody coming to help you. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you got to help yourself and you got to help
Yeah.
your boys, and ain't nobody coming. So they want to make sure that whoever they have in there
It's
isn't just
fit.
going to throw in the towel. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And give in.
Hmm.
So I'm forever thankful for that community, for everything I went through there, the friends I made there. It was just incredible. 1 second, real quick, F Dub.
Yeah,
There we go.
there you go. You there still?
I'm back. I'm back.
All right. Well, let
So
me
yeah,
tell you, man. So listen, man. That right there, man. I this was the big part of the show, as I wanted people to get to know who L. Sorry, I'm over here. I'm over here
Name's
about to choke.
Ardacio.
it's all good.
I know. I'm over here trying I ran out of drink. Goddamn, my drink is over here, and I'm over here. But I never. First of all, I know how to pronounce your name now, Galveo.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's Galveo, man. So I don't have anything to match that when it comes to this interview, because your story is crazy, and what you've done, man, is just incredible, man. And I just want to thank you, man, for introducing, your history and your story, man, because it really gets to the next part of this whole sit down. And it's when I said to everybody in this community that we was going to have you on the show, a lot of people started saying, "Great dude, solid guy, straight about his business and stuff." And I'm like, this is the same guy that I know. You know what I'm saying? The first person that ever gave me any information about you, you reached out to me, and I was working with Eddie, and I said, "Hey Eddie, do you know Ardicio?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Good dude, man, good dude." He was like, "Definitely fuck with him. He's got some dogs down there," and we just, it was just a conversation that took place, and we started our thing, and and so I got a chance to, to there's just so many things that you don't know. I mean, I've been in this community for some time, but there were just so many things that you don't know. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I found out Black Bull was yours. I remember him, being one of my dogs looking at, and it's just like, where the fuck? How did I not know? And how did I not make this connection? B
I
put
told him.
B put that connection together. Thank you, B. So what I wanted to do is I got some tough questions for you. I got some real tough questions for you. And I want to start with this first one right here, man. So I don't know, this is a really, really tough question. And it took me some time to really think about this, because I says, if I'm going to hit him with something, I got to hit him with shit that's going to blow him away. So my first question that I'm going to ask you is, let me see, what do I got here? I'm going to put this up real quick. So I'm going to go there, boom, and I'm able to put everybody on. And the question is, wow, hold on. I need you to be here. Can you see that? You can see B?
I can see B.
You can see B?
Just me.
You can see me?
Yep, just him.
All
Just
right,
me,
so
bro.
this is the first question right here. Boom. Chicken or fish?
Oh, bro. Damn. You already know fish, man. I'm a fish man.
Bro, this is tough, man. I had to sit up here and I had to say it could either be beef, chicken. I'm thinking chicken or fish. Where we at with this?
I'm a fish guy, bro.
I'm going
Fucking
with fish,
fish.
bro.
I'm a fish guy. Bro.
You're a fish guy too?
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm a fish guy, man.
All right, man. All right, so here we go. So this is another one, man. These are gonna hurt you. I mean, that you might lose some friends over these decisions that you're making.
It's all good.
Yeah, this one right here is a tough one right here. Ford or Chevy, bro?
I'm
That's
a
easy.
Chevy boy.
Chevy?
I'm a Chevy boy. I'm a Chevy boy, bro.
B, you're a
You know
Chevy
what's
guy
up?
too?
I ain't drive. I fix Fords all day, bro. They make me mad money. I ain't drive one.
You should be a Ford.
He already knows. It's the 6 O's or them 6.7s? Which one?
All of them.
All right.
of them.
He goes,
Everything after the Model A is downhill, bro.
Oh, yeah.
everything after the Model A. All right, so here goes a tough one right now. And this is a scenario. I'm gonna put this up here, and you're gonna say the obvious, but
All right.
I feel like this is a tough one right here. Oh, you can't fucking see it. Oh,
I can't
shit.
see that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
hold
see
on.
Tyson.
Yes, you see Tyson, and then
Or Komodo Dragon.
yes,
Is that what it is?
Yes, Tyson or Komodo dragon. Who would you rather? Who would you rather fight?
Oh, I'd fight that Komodo all day, man. Iron Mike is my dog, man. That dude, even today, man, that's a tough bastard right there, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with Mike. And he's smoking weed, and so it's gonna segue.
Oh, yeah. And a couple of shrooms, so you know that's that relaxed violence he's got going on right now.
And it segues into my next question right here, man. So you have a choice. Who are you gonna smoke with? Willie Nelson or Snoop Dogg?
Snoop.
Snoop?
Snoop.
I'm doing Willie.
You're doing Willie?
I'm doing Willie.
Willie, I think Willie's a little bit before me, man. I'd say Snoop.
Willie's got a lot of knowledge. I just like the fact that they both got
that's
long
why
hair.
I want to smoke with Willie.
Yeah, I can fuck with that. All right, and here goes the last one, but not least. This was a tough one. Cher or Dolly Parton? Who would you take a lap dance from?
Oh, bro, that's the only choices I got.
I mean, you can do it. Who would you want 10 minutes alone with? That's what I want to know.
Who got the most money? Who
Cher.
got the most money? Cher? I'm taking Cher.
I would take Cher. I'd say Cher definitely has it, man. You listen. You made it through the speed round. You made it through the round, brother. You made it through the round. That was tough.
I like it.
That was really, really tough, man. Hey, right now, man, your playlist, man. Name 3 songs right now that's in your playlist right now. That would be like, I gotta have these. You're hunting. You're going for that long drive. 3 songs that's in your playlist right now. Let's go,
bro. You know what's crazy? So I like that illest motherfucker around.
Yeah.
There's just something about that song that hits. You know what I mean? Definitely. Lose Yourself. That's one. That's
oh yeah,
classic.
yes.
Get on there. You know what I mean? And then, shit, man, you're hitting me hard. I have so many. So my mix list is different for every occasion.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck with one particular type. I listen to a lot of instrumental stuff.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Oh, well, you got bars? You got some bars?
What?
He's listening to Rocky, bro. He's got Rocky playing in the background.
No, I don't go that corny, right? But there's one, for example. It's called the name of the album is called Battle Cry. It's from a thing called Two Steps from Hell. And I just love it. It just puts me in this, it just puts me in this mindset. It gets me ready. You know what I mean? I like music that moves me emotionally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pumps me up, gets me fired up, gets me in the mood. If I'm like, if I'm going hunting, or if I'm going fishing, if I'm going diving, whatever, I like music that moves me, that gets me ready to go. You know what I mean? Gets me pumped up. But then, like in the evening, if I'm cooking, you know what I mean, and I got some of my friends around or whatever, I'm jamming
Rocky.
A little bit. No, no Rocky when cooking, bro. I'm trying to make a good meal. I'm not trying to break the stove. No, I'll jam. I'll jam to some bossa nova. I don't know if you ever heard of that stuff. A little Brazilian jazz. You know what I mean? Stuff like. So it's like a weird thing, But I like all kinds of music, man. I listen to rock. I listen to country. I listen to hip hop. I listen to R&B. You name it, man.
Wow.
Same.
I kind of figured that you had a wide, selection of music.
It was
and
never
stuff.
like that. It was never like that. When I was in high school, it was strictly hip hop and R&B. That's it. You know what I mean? That's what I listened to.
I didn't think that.
All you cared about was that cardboard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think about it because, first of all, I didn't know you was Brazilian. I had no idea what you was, and so trying to put your name. I didn't do any research or something like that. Is Galvão? Is that what it is?
Yep, Galvão.
Is Galvão? Is that a popular name in Brazil or no?
Very popular name.
Oh, it is.
Very popular. Yeah. So it's actually, the way to pronounce it is Galvão, because the A at the end has the little squiggly worm on top.
Yeah, but so I was pronouncing it right. Galvão.
Galvão.
Yeah. Ardicio Galvão.
I'm just Americanizing it for you, brother.
There you go. Yeah, I know that helps out a lot. No, that definitely helps out a lot because I was thinking I was like Ardicio Galvão, and then the only thing I was thinking, I was like, he's probably listens to like shit like Megadeth or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, bro. I throw people off all the time.
But that's him right there, boy. That motherfucker. So So let's talk about these dogs real quick, man. That's what everybody wanted to. That's what everybody wanted to know, man.
Yeah,
Let's talk about this guy right here, man. Who is this guy right here?
that's Porky. Okay,
That is Porky,
that's
and
Porky.
we should probably let me see. Hold on a second, because I know that we've got. Let me see. We got Porky in the building, and then I'm trying to add. I had all of this set up, and for some strange reason, the dogs that I loaded up is not there. So let's talk about this
Yeah,
guy. Who
that's
is this guy?
C2. That's C2.
That's C2. And so
Yep.
now we're going way back. We're going back to the beginning when I add this dog. But hold on a second because I gotta find him. Uh, hmm, where are
What's
you?
Porky off of?
Porky's off a clone. So
And a black bull daughter?
no, no, no. So Porky comes off of a female named Medusa. I got Medusa from Abi. You know Abi Kano?
Yeah.
Okay. So Porky comes off of Clone, who everybody knows, you know, Clone's a Veneno's son.
Yeah.
To Medusa, who is godly, what's the name? King Bobo daughter.
Oh.
King Bobo is off of Big Red. Okay, so
Right.
Medusa was an outcross. She comes off of King Bobo to a completely different, like I'm pretty sure like second or third generation is like F1. And I forget the name of the dog. The mom, Medusa's mom, is off of a dog named Smokey, who's a blue Merle male. So
Okay.
Medusa's actually a fawn Merle, but you can't really see. And she was one of the first dogs I ever noticed that was actually Merle. And you can only tell if you actually see her in person and you look at her back, you can see the markings. But it's
Yeah.
because of that red tinge on the undercoat that kind of shadows a lot of the Merle markings on her.
Right.
So Porky's the same. Porky's actually a Merle. So Porky is a product of Veneno bred to some big red blood.
Hmm. Interesting. So we got this
Yep.
guy right here. That's Clone.
That's the man right there, bro.
That
That's
is
dog
the
that
man.
changed my life.
So this is the dog that changed your life. But I
For
know
sure.
that you started a while back with this guy right here.
For sure. For sure.
So
I
you
love
said that
that dog.
he's 9 years old today. Well, today, not today,
Yep.
but he's 9 years old.
Yep.
When you talk about 9 years old, man, I tell you, man, people be struggling to have dogs 9 years old, man.
For
That's
sure.
that's
Yeah, well,
a
that dog is a 9-year-old dachshund that lives on a farm in
yes,
Florida.
yes,
So
in
if you
Florida.
look
Crazy.
closely,
That's
in
crazy.
Florida. So I'm going to tell you, you know, this is a testament to my fiance, soon-to-be wife's pushiness and unwillingness to listen to me. Okay, don't. I hope she's not watching this right now. However,
You can't go back inside tonight, bro.
no,
I heard that.
but she's the one that's like, let him be a damn dog, right? So she take him to the farm, and I was always worried. I'm like, he's gonna get hit, he's gonna do this, you know what I mean? You're gonna lose him, you know, he's
Yeah.
gonna overheat and this, that, and the other. So if you look closely at that picture, you could see his left eye, which is, you know, if you're looking point of view here, would be his right eye on his face, is missing. I don't
Mhm.
know if you guys can tell that. Okay,
His eye is missing.
yeah, he doesn't have his left eye. He
Oh
did not
shit!
come like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So his name here at home is he's not called Black Bull here. His name is Alfie. Okay.
Okay.
So now that he's a retired man, we're gonna call him Alfie. Okay. That's Black Bull. He's the Dak's son. His name is
Mhm.
Alfie. He used to run around in our little pasture in our little paddock chasing the horses and
Mm.
nipping at their feet. We used to
Yeah.
have an old mutt named Doggy. She passed away last year. She was 16 years old. And she used to do it, but she was always very smart. She knew how to dodge the horses that she was chasing them. He used to do it all the time. First time he did it, one of the ponies kicked him square in the face, and he had a big horseshoe mark on his forehead. Still didn't learn his lesson. Okay, kept doing it. The third time, which was 2017, so 6 years ago, he was chasing one of our giant horses. We had Clydesdales and we had some big draft horses here. And one of our horses, Ferrari, kicked him square in the face, and that's how he lost that left eye. Now, I found out about it because out here in the farm, he's super smart. He'll come out. It could be 100 degrees out. He's out doing his thing. If he gets hot, he jumps in the water trough where the horses are hanging out. and he cools off. And then he'll be wet. He'll walk right under one of the trailers and just hang out, one of the horse trailers and hang out in the shade. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much been his whole life. He's been a pretty smart dog about that and cooling himself off. And he has a super short muzzle. Like, he does not have what you would expect him to have as far as that line of dogs. So he was actually hanging out in one of the trailers. I was managing a hotel down in South Beach at the time. And I get a phone call from one of the girls here, because in the evening, when it's time to bring everybody in and feed the dogs and everything else, bring them in the house, they called him, and he walked out from under the trailer with his left eye hanging off his head.
Shit.
Happy as shit, wagging his tail like nothing happened.
Wagging his eye.
What's wrong? Everybody's looking at him. He's like, "You have a mirror?" So I'm freaked. I get this phone call, and I dropped everything at the hotel. I was like, I don't give a shit. I took off driving from South Beach up here to get my dog, took him to the vet. They wanted to do all this craziness, chest x-rays, skull x-rays to make sure that he didn't have a cracked skull. I'm going, well, what are you going to do if he has a cracked skull? Nothing. Okay, then we're not doing skull x-rays. That's retarded. And they're like, well, we need to make sure he doesn't have any swelling in the brain. Well, what if he does? What are you going to do? I'm going to give him this medicine. And okay, how much is the medicine? 50 cents. How much is the x-ray? $250. Give him the fucking medicine. That was the beauty of me having the background that I had of knowing what the hell was bullshit and fluff and knowing what was actual necessary, right? Walked out of the clinic, with $300. His little eye receded and kind of shrunk. Once you lose your eye like that, the vessels and everything else track, right? And he's been like that ever since. And he gets around just fine. He does his thing, and
Did all of his eye fall out, or is it?
No. So what it does is the eye, just because there's no longer any blood flow because of the damage, it all just kind of shrivels up.
Like a raisin.
Like a raisin. It just all goes away. So now what you see is he has that little bit of pink, which is just the scar tissue there. But outside of that, he's good. He's a good dog.
Does he?
So you said he has a shorter muzzle than what you would expect from that blood, but you think that comes from the kingdom side of it, right?
I believe so. I believe so. I think it comes from that golden line blood and all that good stuff.
Yeah, he really, to me, kind of favors that more than the Dax.
For sure.
Is that Golden Line Joe?
I don't know what his name is. Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah.
With Crown and those guys?
Yeah, but this is
back in their previous era.
Yeah.
This is back in the day.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty deep, man. See, everybody, just to let everybody know, man, the histories of these dogs, man, Dax made a lot of great dogs. And I don't know if you guys remember that dog Uso.
Oh, Uso.
Oh, I do.
Fucking
was a phenomenal dog.
He was a freak of nature, and he looked crazy, and he had really pushed the limit for the exotic extreme look, because it was just not. He didn't look like Cash Pot. He didn't look like Suge Knight. He didn't look like a lot of dogs that.
He was different, bro.
That Dax had thrown. Uso was crazy.
He's in Oscar's fourth generation, I think.
Uso is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
That's crazy. Mom's side.
Wow, that is bonkers, man. All right, so we're gonna fast forward. So let's talk about this guy right here. Oops, no, that just talked. That I didn't want to do that. I want me back on there, and then but we got the one and only.
You got rid of me, bitch.
I know. Hold on. I'm getting rid of everybody. Take that. Let me start over. Let me start over. Here we go. We're gonna put everybody back on. All right, there we go. Now let's talk about this guy.
Okay, C2. I'll give you a little bit of a background story on.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. We're skipping Clone. We're skipping Clone, right? Because Clone, right? And then we go.
You got to go chronologically from.
Okay, so.
Hey Brian, don't use those fucking big words. Okay, don't make me look up those big fucking chronological.
Okay. All right, I gotta give you guys the story and the scoop on Clone, okay, and how everything kind of came to fruition with Clone. So
let's go.
I got out of the military 2014. I moved to Florida. I have,
Sorry, I didn't mean to see.
It's okay. Trying to make things happen for my life. I gave up everything I had in the military. I didn't have a pot to piss in. Me and Christy, who was soon to be my wife this February, we came here with trash bags full of clothes, her old truck, and an old horse trailer, and our horse. That's it. That's all we had. And fortunately for me, I had a family that was there for me. My brother allowed us to sleep in one of his spare bedrooms. We had a little air mattress on the ground, just trying to get our feet up, and get ourselves moving. So we struggled a lot, man, through the years. I mean, for years and years and years, we struggled. We had horses, we had all these big dreams, but you know how life is. You get hit upside the head every once in a while. Things would
Right.
go well, and then they'd come crashing on us.
Absolutely.
And we had a little house that we were renting in Fort Lauderdale at the time. We finally got our own little space, and that's when I got Black Bull, right? So I had him there. We had our own little place. We were struggling. I was working at Carnival Cruise Line selling cruises. She was working at a boat marina, as their service rider. We didn't make a lot of money. We had a lot of horses. I had a damn near an eviction notice on my freaking door every single month. Okay. So it's just part of life.
Yep.
So then I got an opportunity, and we had a stable that was next door. That's next door to me right now, to the facility I have now. That was a complete trash dump. There was nothing there. It was just garbage everywhere. The electrical, if you flick the switch, would smoke. The whole nine. But at the time, we couldn't afford really anymore to keep the horses where we were keeping them, because we had 5 horses, and it was so expensive to keep them at another facility. So my old lady goes, she's like, "Hey, I found this place for rent. It's only like $850 a month. It'll save us a little bit of money on the horses. You think we can make it out?" And I'm looking at the place, and I'm going, that place is a dump. I don't have the time nor the energy to deal with it, right? Kind of left it at that. A few months go by. We're still struggling. She ends up losing her job. And finally, I'm like, you know what, man? I was like, "Do you think you can make that place happen?" She's like, "Yes." I said, "And don't worry about getting another job. I'll work, overtime if I have to at Carnival, and I'll try to, bring the money in. You take the time, you spend your time here, and try to clean this place up a little bit." And that's what ended up happening. So we start cleaning this junk up.
What's it
The
called?
guy-
Twin something? Twin what?
No. This was called Double Flush. Double Flush.
A
Stable.
double flush. That's twin
So-
double. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Double Flush is exactly what you would think. The place was such a dump that you had to double flush it. She came like, okay. So we get the place. I would work till about 11 p.m. at night at Carnival Cruise Lines. We had one car. She would spend all day here painting and fixing the fence or doing whatever she could do. She'd come there, pick me up. We'd come back here, do a little bit of work, and then go home to our little place in Fort Lauderdale. Through that process, we cleaned that whole place up. The guy next door, which, funny enough, when I first moved here, he was building a brand new stabling facility, and I was trying to rent it, and I just couldn't afford it. It was $2,000 a month to rent it. There was no way I could afford it, right? He sees us over there working our butts off. We're shoveling sands with by hand. We're talking full loads. And he comes over and he says, "Hey, you guys want to borrow my Bobcat? I'll let you guys borrow it. It'll be easier to do the work." And we cleaned the place up, man. Within 3 months, we had a lot of help from great friends. Cleaned the place up. He comes over. He was blown away at how nice the place turned out to be. And he comes to me with a rent-to-own contract on this property. Okay. Now, I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. He needed $50,000 down, okay, for me to, buy into the contract. But for now, it's just a rent-to-own thing until I gave him the 50 G's and we finalized the contract, right?
Right.
It's $2,000 a month to rent the place. There was a small little fifth wheel here. And we were living in Fort Lauderdale. We had friends that moved all the way from Washington State who were living with us. We told them, we're like, "Look, we got this opportunity and we don't want to lose it." We gave up the house. Christy and I slept and lived inside of our horse trailer for almost a year. Okay, there was no shower, no nothing in there. We were showering inside the fifth wheel with our friends. They had kids, so we let them stay there. They gave up living in the house with us as well to come here. So
Wow.
basically, from that point on, we're living in this little RV. I mean, I have videos and stuff. Right around, actually, it was, I think, right before things changed for us, 2019. We're sleeping in our bed. The RV wasn't doing very well. There was no AC. So I had a friend that brought an old central air unit. I ran a pipe through one of the windows. The ceiling would leak. Anytime it would rain, just a little bit of rain, it would just dump on top of us on the bed. So we glued a shower curtain to the ceiling. I have videos of it. And I remember sitting there just laughing, you know what I mean? And on the video, you could hear Christy going, "This fucking asshole's over here laughing." And I was laughing because I'm like, story of my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing new, you know what I mean? Bring it on. So throughout that process, I had multiple different jobs and losing jobs and this, that, and the other, and fighting with the VA. I had a bunch of claims to the VA for my disability and everything like that, and was fighting with them, not getting anything in return. So then COVID comes around, right? And we kind of get kicked in the nuts because the one form of income we had, which was our trail rides, right, where we take people out on horses, we got shut down. Even
I
though
remember.
horse riding was allowed. It just wasn't allowed if you're making money. You know what I mean? So they shut us down with that, and that was another big kick to the nuts where we're like, what are we gonna do? So then next thing you know, I get some, I'm getting an email, whatever, and they're like, listen, your small business qualifies for an SBA loan, through the COVID relief emergency program, not the PPP stuff, but the other stuff, not the grants or anything like that. So I'm like laughing about it. I'm like, I'm never going to get approved for that. We're a small business. We're a little freaking farm. We don't make shit. Like, they're not going to do anything. So I was like, somebody's like, just apply for it. Who gives a shit? So I applied for it. A month later, I get an email from the Small Business Administration saying that I got approved for $95,000. Okay, I'm thinking it's a scam. I'm like, this is bullshit. Look at this crap. You know what I mean? And this lady's calling me from the SBA, calling and calling and calling. I'm like, I'm not talking to her. This is BS. So she finally calls me. She's like, I am from the Small Business Administration. She sent me all her credentials. So she's like, you're approved. And I'm like, seriously? She's like, yeah. I filled out all the paperwork, and like within a couple of days, I had $95,000 in my bank account, my business account.
Wow.
Now, mind you, I had no money in there, and I was just sitting there going like this can't be real, right? Like,
You was like, look at that. We're gonna get a brand new shower curtain.
Let's buy a dog.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. We took that money and we bought the property. Okay, we took that money, we finalized on the property. Then we took the rest of the money and we put into the infrastructure of the property, which was to build, a little barn apartment and everything else. Now, fast forward like a month after, I get my letter from the VA of approval for my disability.
Oh, nice.
Okay, this is years. We're talking 2014 to 2020. We're talking 6 years in the making. All happened all at the same time. So now the VA had to back pay me from 2000 all the way to 2014.
Motherfucker, I want to put them goddamn hands in the air for that, boy.
Bro, I'm telling you, and I'm going, this whole time we've been fighting so hard. I just needed one little break.
Right. One yes.
Exactly. So the money we had from the small business thing, we put into securing this for us, right?
Yeah.
And reinvesting into the facility, because that's our business. That's how we make our money. We wanted to make sure that this place can be preserved.
Right.
I had the VA disability, payment, and I'm going, what am I going to do with this? And listen, I was always the guy that was, I get some money, bro, and I'm going to be quick rich. I'm going to be blowing that stuff downtown. And by the time it's over tomorrow,
BMF, blowing money fast.
That's it. So I'm going, I can't do that. So then I'm thinking, all right, what can I do with this money? I know there's things that I'm really good at. And this was right at the time when like a lot of people were starting to import dogs, right? And I said, all right, I'm going to import a dog. So I tell her, and she's like, you're crazy. Like, you're nuts. She's like, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. You know what I mean? If you believe you can do that, you go for it, right?
Right.
So I found I had a little broker, and actually Clone, believe it or not, was not my initial dog. The initial dog I bought was a dog. You remember, B?
Who was the original dog?
The original dog was a dog I named Dooley. He was a 2 times inbred Veneno son, and he was almost like a caramel tricolor. And I bought him, and he ended up dying while waiting to be transferred. I do
remember.
Yeah. Okay, so at that time, I'm going, man, we just spent all this money on this dog. You know what I mean? Like, shit, like, what's going to happen? And, the broker comes to me. He's like, listen, we got 2 options. I can either send you your money back, or we can find you a replacement, right? So my immediate knee-jerk reaction was, just give me my money. I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? Because of the fear of possibly losing that.
Yeah,
right?
happening again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then looking back at it, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with that money if it gets in my hands? You know what I mean? Like, this is an investment I'm already in. Let's play this out, right? So they sent me hundreds of dogs, okay? And I'm going, nope. I didn't want any of them, because at that time you had Wasabi in the United States. You had Harry in the United States. You had William in the United States. you had all these Veneno sons, right? And I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that whatever it was that I was going to bring was going to be different in every single one of those dogs. Different look, different style, you know what I mean? With his own little flair, you know?
Mhm.
So they had sent me Clone when he was about 6 months. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what? He looks great. But I bought an adult dog. And I'm not here to buy a promise. I'm here to buy a finished product because this is an investment for me. So I want a stud that I know what he looks like, I know what he's developed into, and I know that I can bring him to the United States and immediately put him to work, right? Left it alone. I let go of Clone. I passed up on Clone. Fast forward another 3 months, I get a video of Clone at 9 months old. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, all right, that's the dog. That's the
Mm.
dog. I'm gonna bring him. So that's how the whole thing came to fruition, you know. And then I got Clone here, and you know, at first he was just an investment, and in the end, ended up being my best friend, you know,
Yeah.
and changed my life. I mean, when I tell you he changed my life forever, you know, I can look around here and everything is him. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
the things we've done to the property, the things I've been
Yeah.
able to accomplish and reinvest. You know, we ended up opening a third business in 2020 on top of it that's doing extremely well right now. All of it just came together at a perfect time. So, you know, I tell people a lot of times, and I say to them, you know, I get sometimes customers, you know, they just missed a breeding this year and they're super frustrated. You know what I mean? They're ready to throw in the towel. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, you don't know when your break is going to come. It could be very well on your next turn. It may take a year, it may take 6, it may take 10 years. So
Mhm.
long as you keep chugging
Yep.
along, man, eventually something's going to give. You know what I mean? Something's going to give. And that's what that year was for me. 2020 was probably one of the worst years for a lot of people. Ended up being one of the best years for me in my life. And Clone was a testament to that. And everything I have here is Clone. He has, you know, made me some incredible dogs. He's created a program, and I've always loved the blood. You know, I wanted Judge Blood for a long, long time, long before Clone even came along, long before Veneno was huge and all these people were jumping on him. I was looking at a dog named King Kai. I don't know if you guys remember him. Uh,
Yeah,
King Kai is a
absolutely. Yeah.
Judge's son. He's actually the uncle of our dog Tank, and
Yeah.
King Kai was one of the originals, and I really the whole point for me was to mix that blood with Black Bull. That's what I always wanted. I wanted to bring that Judge blood because Miyagi blood is kind of iffy. You know, if you inbreed Miyagi directly too much, you tend to lose a little bit of the substance and bone on the dogs. But Judge blood seemed to be different.
Yeah.
You know, it brought that to the table. So that was kind of like, okay, I like Miyagi blood and I like that mix with Daxline, but I need to bring a specific type of Miyagi blood, and that's when the whole thing came to fruition. And then, you know, obviously I had some dogs with Judge blood, and then next thing you know, Veneno, and now everything is the way it is. You know.
Wow, that's crazy, man. I mean, how everything unfolded, and you know, applying for something you didn't think you even had a chance of getting, and then something you've been fighting for so long, and then
Yep.
on top of that, you'd get all of these blessings, and then the first dog that you anticipated passes on, and then you had to wait, you know, another 6 to 9 months in order to get the dog, man, and then
And that happened. That happened. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, that's divine intervention right there, because I don't think that other dog would have ever been what Clone is. You know,
yeah,
Yeah, probably
just
not.
not the same. And like I said, I'm a firm believer. Listen, you know, whether you have your faith, you know, you have your belief, but I'm a firm believer that there's something bigger out there than us, you know. And I like to watch for those little signs. You know, the signs tell us where we should be and where we should be going. We tend not to listen to them too often, but
hmm
you know, I look back and I'm like, man, listen, all the hardships, they were all for a reason. They all led me to this point. So I'm not
Yeah.
even mad anymore. You know, when I get a tough time, when I'm going through something hard, I know from personal experience that what's on the other side of that, man, is going to be something incredible. So
Your whole story is that way. From 13 to 2020 is a wild ride, you know?
absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, man.
things are going good now. Let's talk about C2.
Okay. So C2. Okay. I'll tell you how C2 came to fruition. Actually, this was like a collaboration between.
Why don't you bust his balls over those fucking big words?
Because he's our guest.
Yeah, you don't talk to guests like that in the U.S. So
And I know what that word means.
What does it mean?
yeah,
It
what
means
does it mean?
Fruition means life, fruit.
Fruit. There you go. So C2 was the coming of different worlds together, right? The blending of different worlds as far as the bully game goes. He
Hmm.
was he is the product of the American bully and the exotic side of the house, right?
Hmm.
And I've never been a kind of guy that's like, I will never touch that, right? I will never touch a dog that has exotic blood. I will never touch this blood. And the reason why I'm like that is because I believe that some of the greatest American bullies ever have been created because people have been able to mix in different things and not be so single track minded to stick with only
Absolutely.
one thing. So I think that was a big part. So he was a connection that was made. I don't know if you guys know Jay Escoto, um,
I
photographer
don't.
Escoto. So I got to know Jay a few years back, and Jay was actually one of the first ones to ever do photography for me from Black Bull, and he connected me with Donald McKenzie. Donald McKenzie has a dog named Sicario. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Sicario. He's called the Merle God. Super exotic looking dog. Not really my
Yes.
type of dog, not my taste, right?
No.
But there's a taste for everybody. So I don't really shit on anybody's taste because he has his clientele who love that look of dog, and there's so many variances, man. With this breed, it's the beauty of it, and many different people have different tastes. So I met them actually. I think you were there, FW. I brought Clone and I brought Tank to see.
Yes.
That was the
Yes.
first time you saw Tank. So
Yeah,
Yep.
he told me
that
about it.
yep, that show. So I'm getting ready to leave because like I told you, man, I'm not big. You had told me to stay. I want to bring him in. I was out
Yeah.
of there.
That was
So
my
I'll bring out
debut
the.
at judging too. I was like, please come and bring that dog in the ring.
I
Or
remember,
maybe
and
MCing, one of the two, but it was cool.
oh yeah. So I'm getting ready to leave, and Jay comes running out. He's like, "Bro, you can't leave yet. Donald's got to see this dog." Blah blah blah. So Donald comes out. He sees the dog. He's like, "Man, I love Clone." He went nuts over Clone. He's like, "I have Sicario's litter-mate sister, and I'd love to do something with you, right?" So they show up. Him and his partner, Angel, show up, and they walk in the house. And I remember my old lady was sleeping, and Angel goes, "Holy fuck!" when he sees Clone. Right? He loses his shit. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He was trying not to be loud, right? So he comes in, fell in love with him. They bring Sicario's littermate sister. She's not as exotic as Sicario. Short tail, more exotic features,
Yeah.
underbite. But I think she was a lilac ghost Merle, right? So I didn't think anything of it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do this breeding. Let's see what happens, right? Now, Donald was looking because Donald loves the bully look. He loves Clone's look. He loves the C2 look, but he was more on the exotic side because that's what his brother, his brother who passed away, that was his vision. And Donald kind of carried his vision for him, right? He stuck with it, kept it alive for his brother.
Yeah. Now
And
you're doing this on a putback deal, or you were just doing a regular breeding?
no, no, no. He paid the stud fee outright, right?
Okay.
And I had no intentions of getting a dog off this breeding originally.
Until you
Okay.
saw him.
No, I'll tell you, it was it was different. It was a little bit of impulse, and I'll tell you why. So I do the breeding with him. Breeding's confirmed, right? Then a month later, this is a month after we do the breeding. Gabby, who is she is from Couture Kennels. She's the one that produced Haka.
Mm,
Gabrielle.
mm.
Okay, so she produced Haka, which phenomenal. He's been one of the Merle, you know what I mean? Like as far as Merles, like that's been one of the main dogs.
No.
And
No.
she
No.
wanted to breed the clone. She shows up with this Merle female, and when I tell you, she blew my mind. Like I'm looking at this dog and I'm going, holy shit! Like I had no idea she had this dog. She didn't even tell me what the dog looked like, and then she shows up with this dog, and I'm going, all right, wait a minute. I'm like, listen, can you give me dibs? You know what I mean? I'd love to take a male off of this, and whatever you're not keeping. And she says to me, she's like, I don't sell any of my males to breeders. She's like, they all go to pet homes except the one. And I'm going, wait a minute, what, why? And she says, I made the biggest mistake of my life selling Haka, and he damn near put her program out because Haka went over to Hawaii with Okalani and blew up. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure he's made them millions at this point. And if I was to guess right. And Gabby said that she would never do that again. She wanted to keep her blood exclusive to her. Female, she's okay with selling, but no studs. She didn't want anybody competing with her as far as studs go.
That's pretty backwards, really.
It is, but to me at that point, I'm going, I don't like it, but it makes sense for her. It makes sense for her.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit sour. I'm like, I don't even want to do this breeding anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
bro, this female was phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. So we do the breeding. So now I'm thinking, shit, I'm about to breed clone to this female, and this lady's in the same state as me. She's about to have the first Merle clone, litter, like a Merle clone, whatever.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even counting really the breeding I did with Sicario's sister at the time. So then I thought about it, and I'm like, hey, Donald, I messaged Donald. I said, hey, bro, I'd really like to have first dibs, you know what I mean, on something you're not keeping. So Donald made me a promise. He says, I will give you first dibs. Don't worry, I got you. And believe it or not, I think he had C2 sold to a Steelers player at the time. And he ended up keeping his promise with me, and told me, hey, you got dibs, and I'll work with him on something else. And that's how the whole thing came to play. So I ended up buying C2 from him. He kept a dog named MC Hammer, which is C2's littermate brother. He's another Merle dog. He's not Tri like C2. He's a lilac Merle. He ended up keeping him. And,
how do they compare?
They do. So I would say that MC Hammer's probably a little bit more on the exotic side in comparison to C2, but not by much. Not by much. But C2, the difference is like Donald, for example, he has a little bit more of the eye for the exotic look of the dog, because that's what's always seen. And I'm looking more at the bully side. So it was almost like a no-brainer. You could put the two dogs side by side, and you knew who I was going to pick, and you knew who he was going to pick. So it was a win-win for both of us.
So this picture here, is this a newer picture of C2?
Yep.
No.
This one's from like 6 months ago or so.
Well, the last I've really seen him was when you sent me the video of him to show me his movement, which I thought could move.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't. I don't think he really looked that bully in that video, unless the video just didn't show it.
The video I sent you. How long ago was that video?
I don't know, man. Probably maybe
6, 7 months ago.
Time goes so fast. I don't know. It could have been a year ago. I really don't remember.
Probably. I think I sent it to you a year ago. If I send you videos
where he's jumping up at like something, a rope or a ball or something. In your hand.
No, that's old. That's old. That's like a year ago. That's a year ago. So C2 has really kind of come in himself as of lately. I mean, I even had some people that came down here. My buddy Zach Mead, who has Tank right now. He's like campaigning Tank up there. He's getting ready to go to BRC, and he came down actually to pick up Tank, and he saw C2, and he's like, "What the fuck happened? I was just here like 4 months ago."
Well, that's what I'm thinking when I see this picture.
Dude, he's like, "What the fuck happened?" And like now, if you see, I mean, I got videos of him, eating watermelon and shit. He's wide as hell, man, and he's still short, compact, moves incredibly well, which is part of the reason why I tell people don't shy away from certain things. Because you see a lot of these 2 times, 3 times, strictly what they would consider American bully breedings, right? And you're seeing all these issues with movement, issues with hips, issues with breathing, and all these other things. And just by doing a straight outcross like clone to an exotic dog, I got a super gamey dog with tons of drive, incredible movement, you know what I mean? Beautiful structure. So I can't really, you know what I mean? I can't knock it, man. It's really... It opened my eyes to doing things, you know what I mean, a little bit differently.
No, I tell people that all the time. I mean, your COI is really low now, so you have a way better dog, really, at the end of the day. You have the health problems are beat, both, like you said, breathing, conformationally, skin, just all health, there could still be, eye or whatever that's there. But when you do that kind of thing, you end up with a better end result. I just personally don't prefer... I have an exotic element of everything that I do, and it's kind of for the same reason and for the extremeness that I have in my yard. But I tend to stray away from smaller dogs like that just because I personally prefer a bigger dog. I know you prefer a smaller dog, but I mean, he's amazing.
Believe it or not, I'm a bigger dog kind of guy, bro. I
Well,
really
okay.
am.
let me just
really
take
am,
a
but-
couple of those small dogs off your hands so you can really have what you want.
Have at 'em. Have at 'em.
Let's clean house, make you a little bit more space. You know what I mean? We can fix
Yes.
that. No, listen. I used to, we used to do extremes. That's what I used to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When I was breeding, long before even Black Bull came out. We had.
How tall is
extreme
Black
dogs.
Bull?
I'd say he's probably 15 inches.
Okay.
Yep, it's probably 14 and a half, 15 inches. I've never
Wow.
really measured him with a wicket, but he's not a super tall dog.
I knew he was a smaller dog. Yeah.
Yep, he's definitely a smaller dog in comparison. But
Hey, let me
yeah.
ask you something real quick, our DCO. What is the largest amount of money that you could share with us that you have sold a dog for, and that you spent on a dog?
30 spent, 25 sold.
Wow! Congratulations. Those are some great numbers.
Now, oh, still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not common. I tell that to people all the time. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty much on par with those same numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a usual thing. I tell people all the time. I'm like, it's for me at least. I don't know.
Want to hear
I
my
know a lot of
numbers?
people there talk-
Want to
I
hear
know a
my
lot of
numbers?
people there- Huh?
Jeez.
Go for it. Let's go.
Man, let me
He's
tell you.
going to give you his fucking Powerball numbers or some bullshit.
Let's go. You hit that
The-
Powerball? You ain't sharing?
No, I listen.
No, they weren't winning numbers. They're just
We were-
Powerball numbers.
They were just Powerball numbers. Yeah. No. Thank you, Powerball. No, I've done some big numbers, but I can't for tax purposes. I can't bring that up. Let's change the subject.
I like it.
Let's go with we're gonna talk about this one right here, man. Boom, man, the one and only Porky in the building.
Okay. I'll tell you how the Porky breeding came to fruition, right? So once I got Clone, right, and Clone kind of took off, I have a lot of friends here, man, that I consider family, okay, at my barn, right? They're close to me. They've been, a lot of them were there when I was struggling, you know what I mean? And they saw us come out of the struggle, you know what I mean, and create something. So when they saw Clone and they saw how well he was doing, they're like, man, we'd love to invest in something like that, a dog, we'd love to do something with you. So I said, all right, I'll give you guys an opportunity to invest, So a good friend of mine.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I just gotta say something real quick. Yo, B.
Go ahead, throw it out.
Yo, B.
What?
The Powerball only goes up to like 60 something. You telling me that the most he's saying the most I saw a dog was $68. Oh,
Hey,
fucking!
no
I
shame
don't.
in the game.
That just hit me. I just.
You could have used a multiplier. It could have been
Yeah.
like $364.
Go ahead, DCO. I'm sorry. Let me mute myself.
No, you're good. You're good. So a good friend of mine wanted to invest on the dog, right? And I actually originally it was going to be another import that was overseas. I don't remember the dog's name, but he reminded me a lot of Black Bull, but just more mass, more head. He had that crazy Miyagi look, and she got cold feet. So I told her, I was like, "This is the dog." It was funny. I told her, I said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this video of this dog. I'm going to throw it up on my Facebook before we even buy this dog. Let's see what kind of reaction we get. If we get a crazy reaction, that's your time we jump. We get the dog." You know what I mean? Because that was my temperature gauge. You know what I'm saying? Is this dog worth it or not? The dog was only 5K. She got cold feet and didn't want to jump in. So I'm like, I can't believe you came to me. You want to invest in this, and now you're getting cold feet on me. It's okay. She's a good friend of mine, man. She was a huge part of my program. She helped me through a lot of it. with
Next
the
time
dog.
she calls, this is what you're gonna hear.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true.
The crows. Go ahead.
So then we had the opportunity. I said, you know what, man? Listen, we got this female named Medusa, and Abi had posted her. So I hit him up, and he sent me some pictures, and I'm like, I really like her. Very clean, super clean dog. Beautiful.
That's the cryptic
structure.
male or cryptic merle dog.
Cryptic Merle, yep. And I'm like, listen, we can make something happen with her. She's not super expensive. We can jump in, you know what I mean? We'll breed her to clone. We'll pull what we want out of her, you know, and that's kind of like we invest into the dog and then you grow your investment from that particular dog. So we did the breeding with Clone and Medusa. Phenomenal litter. Porky, obviously, to me, was a standout from the get-go. He was smaller than everybody else. He had them crazy little bat ears, you know what I mean? Super compact. And everybody's like, "What do you see in him?" And I'm like, "Listen, I'm just looking at the little pup, you know. And in comparison to all the others, he's a lot different." So we ended up sticking with him. It was crazy because a lot of them, you know, when they were born, I mean, they had clear Merle markings, like you wouldn't even question it. Merle, Merle, Merle. And by the
Yeah.
time they were 12 weeks old, almost most of it had faded, right?
So that thing
I
you
even had
said,
cut-
it means
Go
a
ahead.
lot. He that thing you said, he was. What did you see in him? He was just different. The one
He
that
was
is
just different.
different and stands out is
Yep.
often the one for
Yep.
whatever reason.
For sure. And, you know, it's not to say that the other dogs aren't incredible and phenomenal. It's just out of that group, he was the one, right? But the wild thing is that, believe it or not, that was one of my least favorite litters ever. And I'll tell you why. I had gotten so used to putting together dogs that I knew the blood personally, I knew how to work the blood, that I could have a litter of 6 or 8, and I could look across the board and say, I'll take any of them. I'll take any of them as my pick, and I'm happy. Right?
Consistency.
That was always my that was always my ultimate goal. I wanted to make sure that I had a litter that you could pick, because a lot of times, I mean, I've had litters where I'll sell everything, and then whoever's left, I keep. You know what I mean? Because I'll let
I
other
bet.
people make their choices based on personal preference, knowing what I have in my hand. So, you know, and I've made mistakes doing that in the past, you know what I mean? But that's okay.
Of course.
You know, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you know, I always wanted a super consistent litter across the board because I want not only the best product to be in my hand, but I also want my customers to display that product as well, because to me, that's the testament of a true program.
Yeah.
I don't believe in a true program when all the good shit's only in your yard, and when you're asking other people about what they have, you know what I mean? They got all the ugly shit that they want to post, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff you see me posting is not my personal stuff. It's stuff that other people produced, or, you know, puppies that they bought or whatever. So for me, and I have people out there that have some dogs that are better than some of my dogs, you know what I mean, that they produced. So
I mean, that's a
out of
good
my
thing
stock.
too.
For
That
sure,
propels your brand.
100%. 100%. And that for me was always very important. You know, I want other people to also have good stock as well, and I want them to be happy with what they got. So that was my main thing with that litter. And it was because it was the first time that I really kind of outcrossed clone with something unknown. I had never worked with Big Red Blood, and it wasn't just Big Red Blood on the bottom. You know, you had a lot of different stuff that wasn't really what I'm used to. So naturally,
Well,
you know, the consistency of that litter.
That's Big Red bred to what?
So that's what I was telling you. So it's King Bobo, right? To that like
So, okay,
F1
so
type
it is
dog.
King Bubba, but King Bubba that is a result of Big Red bred to Louis V. Bitch.
Louis V. I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so. Yep. And then, but the bottom side, you wouldn't even know any of the dogs. Like I can look back, I don't know any of the dogs. You know what I mean? So that
Are they
that
are
plays
they
a part.
more exotic or more terrier?
No. They're more. I would say, like, you know, the old school Merles, the Catahoula type look. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like that. You know what I mean? So not the Merles that we're seeing these days. You know, the old school Merles where everybody's like, I don't really know
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
So that's what it was a lot. So, you know, it's part of it, right? So I understood that, and obviously Porky was my standout in that litter, and I decided to keep him. You know, out of everybody, we actually ended up keeping a female as well that we named Cotton, and she was one of my favorites. You know, and she's beautiful dog as well, but completely different style. I would venture to say that Porky is the only micro in that litter. Everybody else is pockets. Everybody else, all pockets. So
And he's micro.
he's micro. Porky is super small.
Like how tall? Like 12 inches?
12, 12, maybe 11 and a half.
Oh. And
Wow.
how tall's Tank?
Tank is, I think, 13.
Okay.
Tank
they're
is serious. Tank is
That is a
serious.
serious dog.
I'm upset
That is
at you,
serious dog.
Ardicio. You didn't send me that video. Why?
bro. So I tried. It said so it's
Too big.
The video is filmed in like 8K. I tried
Yeah.
to send a 2-minute video, and it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Do you have it
25
posted?
megabytes. I do have it posted.
Is it on your Facebook or
Send
where?
me send me
It's
the
on
link.
Facebook.
Send me if you can.
That's what I
Send me
was
the
gonna
link.
say.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
send me the link, and I can get it on there. Yeah, you can do that.
Hold on.
Yeah. So
Let me try to get.
Just go to his Facebook and find it.
Hold on.
well, God damn it, the production manager's
You ain't got nothing else to do.
The production.
Him and I are having a
I'm over here.
conversation here.
I'm
Go
over
find
here
something to do.
listening to these two fucking old geezers. I'm over here listening to these two fucking old geezers. No, he needs to send me the link. Do you know what kind? This motherfucker, if I go to his Facebook page, you're going to see a dog, a dead deer, and a fucking fish. Okay? That's the first three things you're going to see. Because this guy's a hunting, fishing fool. And then he might throw a dog in there, too. Speaking of which, man, how many dogs do you have in the yard right now?
I think he disappeared to find your link. See?
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's what happened. Well, how many fucking dogs do you got?
One.
One. One Taramera. Yeah, okay. This
Okay,
guy.
more than one. I don't count dogs.
I know you don't. You don't count dogs. I know that.
Denise asks all the time, "How many dogs?" I don't
How
know.
many dogs do you have over there, man? I want to know when you guys are going to collaborate on something. Have you guys ever collabed yet? Or you said, no, you didn't use Black Bull,
you know,
but
so I have the Black Bull credit, and I had I had Edge Bitch Mosquito, and it was a perfect breeding. It would have smashed, but
Mhm.
she passed, so it didn't
Ah.
happen. So I need to find something that I would find comfortable breeding that I get something like what I normally create, and I don't know how I could breed him to what I have now and do that. It would get more exotic than what I want.
Oh.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what I would. You know, well, okay. I know what I could probably breed him to is grungy,
Okay.
but I don't know if that would be a perfect breeding, but that would work.
That
But she's,
might work.
you know, she's more along those lines. I think that the Edge Dax mix always works.
There you
It's a proven thing, you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I know it would have killed it.
Ardesia, we have
I'm
you
back.
back, right? You're back in the building. Let's do
I'm
this.
back in the building.
All right. So
I
check
sent
this
you
out.
a-
Here we go.
There you go.
Oh, I've
With the-
seen this.
With a real tank.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
so
Oh, God.
what is he actually doing here?
Chasing the
Looked like he
drone.
was filming a. Yeah, but I know what the dog's doing. But it looked like your homeboy was filming a scene for like Mad Max or something.
No, bro. He literally he wanted to make a promo video, and that was it, man. My boy Zach, he don't play. You give him an inch, that motherfucker is gonna contact.
This,
Spielberg.
but this is that his actual footage, or is that your footage of him making his footage?
that is his actual footage of them actually. Well, so hold on. That's not the actual promo video. That's like the behind the scenes of them.
That's
Of
what I
it,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
When is that
That's what I'm
dropping?
saying. It looks like you filming him making what he's making.
Yeah, and and just to let you know, what's his name?
Tank.
Zach.
Oh,
yeah, just to let you know, Zach.
Mead.
Yeah, Zach Mead, you're not playing fair, bringing fucking tanks out and shit. All right.
Oh yeah, bro. He didn't play, bro. He's that dude. He's like, hey, I'm gonna bring some ammo and 50 cows and rocket launchers and a whole nine. I said, bro, you go, you do what you do.
I can't wait to see the end result video.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, he did a phenomenal job. There's another one. If you go back, so this is a Medusa female right here as well. So if you go back and look at the videos, you can see where Logan is now handling him, working with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that video.
No, I didn't.
Not yet. I can go in
Look
here.
Hold on. Go back. You're on the page there. Go to my page real quick, and then go to videos.
Videos.
Go up to okay, where's it at? Photos.
That's
and then you go to
photos,
video.
videos.
Okay. Now scroll up slow there. You're gonna see Tank's leg there. Hold on. No. Keep going. Keep going. Hold on. Keep going.
Your gut never lies.
That's the one. That's the one. Click on that. There you go. So that's
Oh.
Logan. That's Logan there with Tank.
Is he at Logan's house?
No, Logan came all the way down to his place. But I
Oh,
think
wow.
he's taken. So now I think what's happening is I think Zach is going up there to Logan once a week to work with him.
Okay.
And
Logan's
these
good.
guys live far from each other, right? I think Logan lives in Carolinas, right?
Well, that's where Zach is. Zach is in
Oh,
North Carolina,
okay.
in Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
So crazy story, right? So a lot of people look at Tank and they look at his pedigree and they're like, man, he's got a scatter pad. I've heard that from people. And I'm going, you obviously have no clue what you're looking at.
Yeah, his
So-
pet's not scattered at all.
At all. So the top side of his pedigree, so his sire, which is Playboy, Cash's Playboy, he comes off on this top side as inbred Naruto, which Naruto
Yep.
goes back to Dax, right? And then he's got some bullseye on the bottom of that, right? So he's got a little bit of an outcross. But then if you go to his mom's side, which is China Doll, she's inbred judge, like inbred judge. Like there's
Yep.
litter mates in there, like litter mate breeding
Yep.
down at the bottom. He is heavy judge. And this dog, Tank, was produced by Aaron Moore from Bull Nation. I've known Aaron for a long time. He's the owner of King Kai. He's also the one that produced King Kai. King Kai comes off of Judge, bred to a Dallas daughter,
Yep.
which goes back to Dax line. So, you know, that mix is just it's a proven mix. I mean, you know, you bring Miyagi to Dax and, you know, you get some phenomenal dogs. But he's been able to create dogs like this over and over and over again. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, you're like a damn guru with these dogs, because not only does he get these crazy short, compact, micro muscled up dogs, but they don't lack in the structure, they don't lack in the drive and the movement, all of that stuff. So, and Tank was a product of that, you know what I mean? And the whole litter, I mean, I got a video of the whole litter with Tank, and like you could pick, it's a pick 'em, you know what I mean? Pick them all. So
Yeah. He really looks like Kai bred in Naruto.
he does.
Who's this right here? This chocolate.
That's a clone daughter. She's young. I think she's like 6 months or something like that. She's produced by Sasha Gohar. And very nice. He just sent me that video the other day. So nice,
Yeah.
nice dog.
Who's she? Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
No, not on my profile. Don't get me in
No,
trouble.
no. I didn't. Yeah, no. My bad, man. All right. So listen, I'm gonna run this down, man. We've got a couple more minutes left, man, on the podcast, man. We've learned a lot about you from inside and out, from the history, from Brazil all the way to the army and serving. You know what I'm saying?
I need
And,
to know. Do you have a pair of the traditional
Ranger
pants?
panties.
What are they? What are they called? The
Ranger panties?
No. The Brazilian pants, the guinchos, or what the hell are they called?
Oh, that's for the gauchos.
the
Yeah,
Gauchos.
you wear those
I
around
don't.
the farm.
No, I don't, bro. Those are from like southern Brazil, bro. They're from Rio Grande do Sul. Those are different kind of folks there.
Sorry.
Well, they make some mean meats. Is
They
my
make-
experience
They
from
make
the
some mean meats,
steakhouse.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The
Hell yeah.
gauchos.
All right, so here it is. Here we go, man. This is going to be our thing. 3 words that come to mind when you see these dogs. I need you to give me your 3 words. Let's go. Dax.
Revolutionary.
That's 1.
Game changing.
Ooh.
Legendary.
I started with the wrong dog because I wanted to wait to get to that. I kind of feel like out of all of these dogs, I'm going to ask you at the end of the day. All right, so here we go. Here goes our next dog.
You know, I think he's a better version of Miyagi, bro.
Oh,
listen,
shit.
Oh, he definitely.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm laughing because I was like, I heard it. You was like, oh shit.
Listen.
That motherfucker bad as bitch. He bad as a motherfucker right there. That motherfucker bad.
That's a badass dog. Listen, remove the politics, which politics are big in this dog game. Remove all that shit. Get rid of the bullshit. That's a badass dog. I don't care who you are.
All right. So our 3 words. What is our 3 words for China Boy?
China Boy. I would say, I'd really say that he brought he brought a lot of attention to some of the dogs getting imported from overseas. I'd say that China Boy was one of the main ones that really kind of caught people, you know what I mean? Caught people's attention. And if you think about it, I mean, I don't know, using 3 words. I know you asked me to use 3 words, kind of hard to do. Because I think that he's a dog. You know, blue dogs aren't generally looked at. You know what I mean? Blue dogs are generally passed up on. And I think that China Boy is definitely a dog that changed the status quo when it comes to dogs of his color. And
nobody can. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. The blue dog fad had had been it was just like, no, we don't want blue dogs no more. We don't want that shit no more.
Which, I don't understand that. Well, I don't understand why color is even a factor in things.
I think I think it's a miss. It's like we're not even the people that know that color doesn't really matter. It's about structure and everything, and it's color is not saying it's the easiest thing to get, but it's the last thing you should be worried about.
For sure,
we should all agree on that, right?
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, right? And I'm the same way. I'm not too concerned about color, right? But this is what I do explain to people. If you want to look at it at the business side of things, right? Let's separate our personal.
Oh, it's definitely a business, Mark. But I just it's never been something I've ever even considered.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I will always, and this is how I do my things. I will never pair my dogs based on popular opinion. I will always pair my dogs based on what I see that they lack and how they complement each other. Color, no color, doesn't matter.
Well, you're breeding dogs for yourself and for your program. You're not breeding dogs for a cash grab, so it's a bit of a different situation.
For sure.
All right, so let me try this again. 3 words for China Boy. Let's go.
Blue?
No, don't fucking say that shit. I'm shooting that down. Blue.
I'm trying to help him out.
We're shooting down Blue. That's not going to be fucking mentioned. Let's go. 3 words.
I would say bull. I'm going to call him a bull. I would say, man, I could say game changing as well, because he really did change the game as far as blue dogs go. Mm-hmm. And I would say complete. I would say that dog is a complete dog. He really is from head to toe a complete dog.
Absolutely, man. I got to agree on that one too, man. That was good. All right, here we go. Don't you listen. What's the name of that?
Big words.
What is it?
No big words.
No. What is the name of that?
Capoeira.
Yeah, don't be capoeira around these fucking words, okay?
No, I got you.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Mr. Magoo.
Oh, bro. Life-changing.
Yes.
Life-changing. I would say that dog, Magoo, man, history. I would say, man, money.
Yo, I was there with you. I was about to say, I don't know what the dollar was. Between the 3 of us, what number do you think he left and went to China at?
I think
it was a $500,000.
Was it half or 3/4? I believe it was 3/4.
It could have been. I don't know. I mean, but money is definitely the main word for that dog, because that's a dog that has completely changed the monetary dynamic of the bully world
and the value of the bully. I don't get. I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, Bashar, the man, absolutely a business genius, and what he did with that dog right there.
Yeah.
Everything we are today, the money we make on these dogs today, I believe personally that it's a testament to what Bashar did.
100%. Yeah, there's no doubt.
No questions asked.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Big up to Bashar, man.
Big shout out to Bashar Muscle Tone. And Non-Bi. Non-Bi was on the receiving end of it, so he had a part to do with it too. He helped to make the history, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so here we go, man.
He needs to start to share him with the world.
He's a stingy.
He's got some nice stuff.
He's stingy. He's stingy.
He needs. Well, he could. Okay, he doesn't have to share him with the world. Just me.
I want to be in line. I want to be in line too.
Somewhere, right, B?
Yeah. I may as well be the ambassador.
Here we go. Legend. Let me not spit out some words. Hold on. You might be trying to use this word. Here we go. Bam.
Oh boy. I think that boy right there, Mr. Remy, was absolutely a ambassador.
Woo! That's a good word. That's a good word.
Remy was a trailblazer back in
I fuck with you on that one.
Yep, I'm gonna give Remy was definitely a game-changing dog back then. I mean, that blood did a
Yeah.
lot for the bully community and the bully look back then.
Yeah.
Love that dog. Love
Would
that
you
dog.
would you put him? Okay, so we got the forefathers of the American bully, and I would put him in that category.
Oh,
Oh, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He was
No
the most widely used dog of his time.
Oh yeah.
Brown.
Yeah.
I got 3 words for him: brown paper bag.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That money was flowing through that brown paper bag, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, so here we
Yes.
go. We're gonna get another one in here, man. I like this. Bam, Rocco.
Rocco, you know, I gotta say game changer because
Mhm.
Rocco revolutionized the look of the show bully dog. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like there's a lot of traits that you can see on that particular blood of dog that you know when you look at the dog, you say that's Rocco blood. There's no
Mhm.
question about it.
Yeah.
You can tell right away, right? So I would
Yep.
say consistent.
Yes.
That's a word I like that dog.
Number one.
I would say a trendsetter, and I would call that dog. Man, I would call that dog. Man, I'm trying to think of a third word here, man. There's a lot to say about this dog.
Can I help you real quick? Can I throw
Yeah,
one out
throw
there?
it in. Come on, let's go.
I would say flagship.
For sure.
Because I really believe that
I like
Khan. I believe that Khan, when he said, if we're gonna have that dog and a flagship dog, he really made it happen. I mean, because I think that it's just so different with him, and the reason why I say flagship is because he didn't just stop there. Grim,
Oh,
Brim, Red. You know what I mean? So he would be a
Oh,
flagship.
the list goes on. The list
Yeah.
there's no questions. The list goes on.
Yeah. We're saluting him today, man. All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
here we go. We got one more dog for you, man. I've been searching high and low, but being that you're 20 years in, I needed to mix and mingle the legends of today that are still living, the ones that are, doing their thing, and then the ones
Don't.
that made their thing happen for us, man. Here we go, the boy, the one and only.
Man, you know what's crazy? Miyagi. I'm gonna use a word controversial.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
that's a good word from Miyagi.
You
And
saved that word. You saved that for him.
I did. Well, and the thing is this: I don't say that in a bad way. Okay?
No, absolutely.
Because
No.
looking back now, like if people were to see the real Miyagi back then, and I know there's a lot of questions about who the real Miyagi is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
If you were to see the real Miyagi back then, Miyagi was actually a fairly clean dog in
Right.
comparison to a lot of the stuff we're seeing today, right? Now, back then, he was considered exotic, right? That was
Right.
the exotic bully movement. But if you look at Miyagi back then versus what you consider an exotic today,
He was
it's
a
night
bigger
and
dog.
different. For sure. He was a bigger dog. He's a cleaner dog. You know what I mean? So great dog, great drive, great movement. So I would say that. I would say that Miyagi, it's a crazy thing because I personally, this is just me, I feel like you can't have Dax without Miyagi.
Hmm.
So I would say, in Brazil, we
What?
say,
Why do you say that? I'm
well,
curious.
so it's almost like
The
those two-
mindset.
yeah, and not only that, right? In Brazil, we have a saying: "It goes nice like rice and beans." Right? Everything we eat has rice and beans in it,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's like some of the best things you've seen come out have been Dax and Miyagi mixed. A lot of
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. Yeah.
some of the most phenomenal dogs, and I think it's particularly because of that distance. You know what I mean, as far as the bloods go and the look goes. And I think it's been able to blend the dogs in and create a more bully look and a cooler look. I would say that signature. I would say that Miyagi just has this signature headpiece that I haven't
Yeah.
seen with their stuff. Miyagi blood
Yeah.
really tends to throw that signature head. And I don't know. I guess controversial signature and I don't know. Help me out. What do you think?
Money. That motherfucker's money too.
Money.
Money.
He definitely made the bag a priority for the next up and coming generations, man. Because
For sure.
it was just something that, you know, when George was doing what he was doing, it was uncertain. It was just like it was. I think this was the moment where people was just like, you know, he had to be a fucking rebel. He really had to be
For
a
sure.
rebel. He had to be a rebel,
sure.
but he had a cause. He said, you know,
Yeah.
y'all like what the fuck you like. I like what I
Yeah.
like. And so either you're going to ride with me or I'll go down with the boat. And see, the boat didn't sink. The boat
never
did not
sank.
sink. It never
That
sank.
boat got bigger.
Yeah.
Boat got bigger. And you know
it-
what's funny, right? So, little background story. So when I was breeding, you know, just your regular old American bullies, you know, I had a Manu and Cha-Cha daughter. I had Dozer Daisy blood. I had Rock and Ruby blood. I had Razor's Edge stuff. I had all of that, right? And when a lot of these dogs started coming out, you know, at that time, I was really big into the show scene. My partner at the time was Rodrigo from Brazilian Blue Kennels. He had ABKC Grand Champion Thug and ABKC
Yeah.
Grand Champion
That was
Thug.
an amazing dog.
Absolutely, Thug was a phenomenal dog.
Were
So
you
that's
were
why-
you in Atlanta when
Of
Thug
course.
won?
I was there.
I
with
was there,
Rodrigo,
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, John
You remember how
gave
crazy
him
that
the.
was?
Oh yeah, I fucking
It was-
remember, bro. That was a crazy day.
Who, John
So-
Easterly?
Yeah, yep. John Ainsley, yep.
So the crazy thing is, like, I remember seeing these dogs come out, this Miyagi stuff, and I think you remember Biz Marquis and a lot of these other
Yeah.
dogs. Supreme,
Biz Blood,
I don't know if
yes.
you remember Supreme Blood, Canine Supreme.
Yep.
They had these more exotic looking dogs, which today those dogs would just be considered American bullies. They wouldn't be considered exotic
Yeah.
now. But I remember being so upset because me, Rodrigo, and a lot of the people I was involved with, we put so much work into showing our dogs, displaying our dogs, working with our dogs, traveling, all that stuff. And these guys came onto the scene with these dogs, which we knew, you know, was they're just mixed. You know what I mean? They got the sauce in there, and these guys were making a killing on these dogs, right? And I was so young, you know, that I'm going, like you said, George said, I like what I like. You like what you like. You know, go do your thing. And that's something that I took with me once I matured to say, okay, I have my personal taste on dogs, right? But there's something that was told to me a long time ago. Don't ever underestimate what a customer is willing to pay for something that they like. So if these guys are creating a look that people enjoy, you know, like, who am I to tell them otherwise? I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm here to focus on my lane, stay in my lane, breed my dogs, create the look that I personally enjoy, right? And then enjoy other dogs as well, man. There's a taste for everything. There's a space for everything. So pretty cool.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, bro, I want to say thank you, man, for coming on tonight because it's been one hell of a talk. It's been one hell of a sit down. We've had
I appreciate you guys, man.
a great conversation, man, and I could just say that, you know, what people don't know and what people are going to learn from this, I think is only going to put more people in perspective with what this-
Perseverance is
Yeah.
what the fuck they should learn from this motherfucker and his story.
Amen. And just making sure that people know that the hard work and efforts that you know, when you see these results, don't forget about what it took to get here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sure, dude.
Yeah, it
the
looks
sun-
easy.
Yeah, it looks
ain't.
crazy easy. And then we do wonder, like, you know, is it sweet over there? You know, it must be nice. Well, don't forget about the shit days. Don't forget about the shower curtain in the ceiling. Don't forget about, you know what I'm saying, hand shoveling with your lady the sand.
Yeah.
And I think that these stories are so important, man. And then the integrity, man, that's behind the consistency. It just is the formulas that I'm trying to let people get an understanding of, you know, who's who's really still doing it 20 years ago. Who's fucking really still doing it from 20 years ago? I got two guys right here sitting with me, man, that started 20 plus years ago and are still doing it, still relevant, and still making great dogs and still willing to share with us, man. I'm happy to be the nucleus in these type of settings and being able to use,
big
you know what I'm
word.
saying?
That's a big
I remember that. I remember that from 8th grade, baby. 8th grade. I'm happy to be in the center, you know, of this moment, man, and being able to bring it forth, man. So the people really enjoyed it too. There's a lot of people that was sharing a lot of love and showing, a lot of love. They spoke very highly of you, Ardicio. B, thank you for joining me as the co-host. Think I'll keep you around for a little bit, my boy.
Hey, I hope it fucking pays well.
Oh, it's gonna be, man. We're gonna get you up out of that hat and suit and stuff soon. We're gonna get you out of there.
None of that usual saving bond bullshit either. I need cash.
You need cash? Cold hard cash, man.
Clean
Our
cash, baby.
DCO, there's we could spend tons of hours talking and stuff, man. But at this point, we're gonna leave more for the people to anticipate for our next go around, because I am gonna have you on here because I want to talk about the hunting part. I want to talk about a lot of different things as well, man. But I just want to thank you for this time, man. And we're gonna leave everybody on this note, man. I'm gonna do my Jerry Springer final thought right now.
Let's go.
When it comes to dog breeding, there's a passion that comes with it.
I can't.
Intimate moment, B. Come on, man.
Come on, goddamn it! Listen,
Okay,
co-host.
go ahead. Go.
Intimate moment, man.
When it comes to dog breeding, when it comes to dog breeding, just remember, you put them dogs in the backyard, they will fuck. No, listen. No, on a serious note, I ain't got much to say. I just introduced y'all to two people. If y'all got any more questions, y'all holler at them, man. Ardicio Galvo, Sunshine State Bullies, man. Thank you so much. My good friend and my big bro, the one and only Brian Westhay for Iceberg Bullies, man. Thank you guys, man. Thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate everybody. This is the Berg Podcast, and we are signing out, over and out. Thank you so much. Peace, brothers. Later.
Night.
Night, night.